Okay, guys, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Right. So today today and this week will be the last week you all do with me, and after that we will be starting the maths one and the law one. So there will be two additional classes this week to cover whatever the pending areas from my side before you start the law and maths. Right. So here today we'll be discussing the branding part, where how a sales manager should comfortable with the brand management strategies, because you guys are working along with the brands and you guys are supporting the brands by being a salesperson who is promoting the brand. So you all should know what is a brand, and you all should know what it can do and how these brands should be managed, not the strategic one, because we have a separate brand management diploma where you talk about the strategic component of the brand management in depth. But here you all should have an idea about how the brand works in the market and what are the key things that you got to identify, understand the concept of branding, right? So when you look at the term brand, and anyway, we were talking about the product management one, and there we identified the term brand and the branding. So we will be taking little further from there and discuss into the brand management area. What you all should know as a salesperson. First thing, you all should know the meaning of branding, right? Okay, we can brand anything. Remember, you can brand anything, my dear friends. Okay, it's I mean you can brand yourself, you can brand a service, you can brand a product. Uh, literally, you can brand anything what you get and differentiate yourself among the competition available in the market. So before I take you all through the branding, the evolution or the history, um, rather, before I take you all through the strategic brand management area, I will just quickly take you all on the historical perspectives of branding, where we see this concept of branding, which is having a long history. If you all really want to know, even the Mayan history, right? The history of 25,000 years ago, right? We identified they use certain things to differentiate themselves from the rest of the communities available over there. So because of that, you all should have some kind of a idea what is branding and how the brand works over a period. Then you all can fine tune your knowledge and implement into this. Now you see, I have given you all these links where you all can go and refer further if you all interested. But these historical perspectives will not be touched under your exam, but for your understanding, you can study how Indus Valley civilization works along with the branding part, and Mayan history works along with the branding part, right? So those things you all can study, right? So and how the term brand started, kind of a thing. So you all need to have some kind of a background idea to get the maximum out of the effort what you all do. So here in summary, what I want to tell you all right now, if I take you all the birth of the brand article, right? So there are some articles where y'all can read there, right? Just have a look and read those articles, then y'all can get an idea how the brand has evolved over a period with the um, I mean introduction. So the Indus Valley civilization, if I take you all there. So there you talk about how the logos have used, how the sign symbols have used, how certain the items have used to brand themselves, right? How they have used certain symbols, logos, imageries, right, to differentiate themselves. So all these are connected with the brand management in modern context. So brand, in simple term, if I tell you all the term brand, brand is in, I mean, it has a huge concept anyway. Brand will help you all to give some kind of a identity, some kind of a identification among rest of the competitors available in the market. So your target market and the target audience can easily differentiate your product among the competition available in the market, and which will benefit you as the salesperson. Let's say you you display your brand in the retail point. If you don't see a unique differentiation in your display, even your retail point might get confused, and even sometimes the customer might get confused and they might not select your brand, and your competitor brand will be chosen. So, I mean, you all should uh, know the benefit of branding. So brand will help to differentiate yourself among rest of the competitors in as the very basic one. And it gives some kind of an identification for your product or your organization or the things what you do among the competition available in the industry. So these are the things we got to identify along with the brandings while you study the historical perspectives of brand. So history goes like that, my dear friends. History goes like that. So you all should have the basics with you all. And here you can see the Bass is the very first brand in the world which got the legal attention or the I mean, as the legal authorization to use it as a brand. The world's first registered brand in 1876, we identified as the Basque brand. Basque again, right? So you all can have a look on this, the brewery brand. So I mean, um, they basically, I mean, that was the very first brand logo registered as a trademark in our history. So like that, you all should have an idea about the other historical perspectives, how brand moves over a period, right? මේවා ආවේ කොහොමද? මේ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ්ස් බිල්ඩ් උනේ කොහොමද? මේ නම් හැදුනේ කොහොමද කියන එක පොඩ්ඩක් ඕගොල්ලෝ ගන්න. Though it is not tested at the exam, you all will get an idea about how these things are working, and even how the Coca-Cola, right, the brand name, look at how they have been using the Coca-Cola name over a period, right, with the modification of logo and all these things. So you all should have an idea on all these things. Then it is easy. And guys, remember one more thing: the brand management is one of the I don't know. For me, it's very interesting topic because you look at so many areas, and you look at the historical perspectives related to brand and how those brands have evolved over a period, and how you change the behavioral science of your target market and the target audience, so-called the customers and the consumers, using your strategies that you implement on the branding. So like that, you talk much about branding when you study the strategic brand management area, but here you study only the basics. So, but that basics gives you some kind of a input on this. So here again, we know අපිට තිබ්බා iron age අර වගේ තියෙනනේ, ගල් යුගය, ගොවි යුගය, යකඩ යුගය, ඒ වගේ ආවනේ, right? Stone age maybe, iron age maybe, right? එහෙම evolve වුණානේ. මේ හැම period එකකදීම අපි දැක්කා මිනිස්සු අපි හොයාගෙන තියෙනවා මිනිස්සු ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ සමහර වෙලාවට ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් වලට අයිඩෙන්ටිෆිකේෂන් එකක් දෙන්න. ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ manufacturing වලට identification එකක් දෙන්න. ඒගොල්ලෝ සමහර signs use කරලා තියෙනවා. They were using certain signs, symbols and all these things. So those are I mean the things we got to remember when it comes for the brand management. So how they have used over a period. And see how Coca-Cola was evolving over a period, right? But still today we are using the brand logo which was designed 100 years back, over 100 years back. Today still we are using those logos, right? And see how it was evolving over a period, then you all can get an idea and how the brand works. Look at Starbucks, right? How the Starbucks evolve over a period and how the Starbucks logo today, right? Then සමහරලාට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ logo එක කොච්චර strong ද කියලා කියනවා. මේ නම නැතුව මේ color scheme එක දුන්නොත් සමහරලාට ඔයගොල්ලෝ match කරයි මේක මේ Starbucks කියලා logo එක. So it has gone into that level in the mindset of the consumer. So those are historical now. See the Johnny Walkers, right? 196 years, not a small period, right? The logo was evolving over a period to the today's context, right? So this is how the brands evolve, and this is how the brand and the branding started to connect with the commercial sector or the business sector. Those days, actually, companies were using hot iron branding for to identify the livestocks. අපි ඉස්සර මිනිස්සු ඔයගලන්ට මතක නම්, right? සත්තුන්ව හංවඩු ගහනවා කියලා කියනවා. අපි හන ගහනවයි කියලා කියන්නේ හරක්කුන්ට එහෙම ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ නම කොටනවා, අකුරු කොටනවා. මොකටද? Now what they did it for what? To give an identification for their livestock. Give an identification for their livestock. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඉන්න එළුවන්ට, හරකුන්ට, ඒ වගේ සත්තුන්ට, අශ්වයන්ට ඒගොල්ලන් symbols දැම්ම. දෙයිලා කිව්වා මේ අශ්වයා මගේ, මේ හරක මගේ, මේ එළුව අපේ එළුව කියලා අයිතිකාර දෙයක් මේක මේව කරා. So those things are starting point of branding, and that branding technology, the what we call harakunta hanagahana, I mean like the hot iron branding, we call it as a hot iron branding. යකඩයක් රත් කරලා ඇඟට තියලානේ මේ ඒ brand ඒ logo එක සතාගේ ඇඟට ගහන්නේ. ඒතර ඒක දැන් let me okay, you can see this, right? Now in this horse you can see how they have make the brand over there, right? So මෙන්න මේ mechanism එක even today in certain industries we are using. Can someone tell me what is the industry we are still using the hot iron branding? What could be the industry we are using still the hot iron branding? Anyone?
Leather products.
Leather products, yeah, very good. Now, leather products, we still identify the hot iron branded techniques used to emboss the leather material. It's very good. Who was that, by the way?
No.
Who was it, by the way? Who was answer?
Yeah, it's me, Pranit, sir.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, there's another person. Yeah. Who is this?
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, tell me. Go ahead. Right. So now here we need to identify the definition of brand and the branding. Right? The brand means what? This is from the layman's point of view. Customer ඔගොල්ලෝ වගේ branding strategies, branding theories ගැන දන්නේ. අපි customer ගේ view එකෙන් ගත්තොත් dictionary එකේ brand කියන වචනේ තියෙන්නේ කොහොමද? ඩික්ෂනරි එකේ බ්‍රෑන්ඩින් කියන වචනේ තියෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා බැලුවොත් මෙන්න මේ විදිහට තමයි ඒක එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරලා තියෙන්නේ. brand, a type of product made by a particular company. A type of a product made by a particular company. Now see, product made by a particular company. Now that product or that name is used by that particular company. So that is how the layman's point of view, the average consumer feel the term brand. And branding means what? From the very average consumer point of view, the brand is the activities of giving a particular name, logo, and service so that people will attract to them and want to buy them. So, I mean, branding means what from the layman's point of view? Just giving a name, just giving an image, logo, sign, just for identification purpose. Attraction and identification purpose. But brand management, it talks more than that. So you will see some more definitions related to branding by time comes. So, I mean, but general, the average consumer's point of view, branding කියන strategies definitions දාන්න නැති මිනිස්සුන්ට feel වෙන්න brand කියන එක කොයි විදිහට කියන එක තමයි මෙතන කතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ. So the word brand is a northern dialect word. Northern German dialect word, right? ඒතර ඒකේ තියෙන මෙන්න මේ brand මෙන්න මේ R එකත් එක්ක එන වචනේ තමයි brand වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. Now මේකේ meaning එක තමයි to burn කියන එක. To burn what? To burn like this. මෙන්න මේක burn කරලා ඉවරලා මේකේ mark එක තියෙනවා. මේ product එක අයින් වෙනකන් මෙයා මේ අශ්වයා මැරෙනකම්ම මැරුණට පස්සෙත් මේ mark එක තියෙනවා. හැම තියෙන තාක්කල්. So අන්න ඒක mean වෙන්න තමයි මේගොල්ලෝගේ මේ වචනේ to burn කියන meaning එක එහෙම නැත්නම් the word brand with an R converted as a brand in today's context. ඒතර මේකෙන්ට අපිට එතනත් බලන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට එතන history එකේ කොහොමද work out වෙන්නේ කියලා. දැන් American Marketing Association එක brand එක define කරලා තියෙන විදිය අපි ගත්තොත් මේ American Marketing Association එක brand එක define කරලා තියෙනවා. As a name, right? American Marketing Association is defining the brand as a name, term, sign, symbol, or combination of them. එක්ක නමක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, එක්ක term එකක් වාක්‍යයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, එක්ක symbol එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, sign එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, logo එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔය කීප එක එකතුවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඔක්කොගෙම එකතුවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. To do what? Intended to identify. මොකටද අපි මේ කරන්නේ? Identification purpose එකට අපි මේ කරන්නේ. Identify what? Goods and services of one seller or the group of sellers and to differentiate them from those competitors. So අපි මේක කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? අපිට sellers ලා කීප දෙනෙක්ගේ products අපිට වෙන වෙනම අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් if we do proper branding approach. If not ඔක්කොම එක විදියට තිබ්බාම ඔක්කොම එකම නමින් තිබ්බාම suppliers ලා දෙන්නෙක් ආවම අපිට හිතා ගන්න බෑ suppliers ලා මේක මොන brand එකේද මොන brand එකේද. So brand will help to differentiate the supplier as well in that case. So which means what, as per the definition of American Marketing Association, very commonly used definition, my dear friends, commonly used definition. American Marketing Association defined the term brand as a name, it can be a name, it can be a term, symbol, sign, or design, or combination of them. මේ වයින් එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ වයින් කීපයක combination එක වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ කෝකත් අපි brand කියලා ගන්නවා. සහ ඒකෙන් කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? Intended to identify the goods and services of one seller. ඒ කියන්නේ average consumer ට පුළුවන් ඒක තමන්ගේ product එකයි තමන්ගේ competitor ගේ product එකයි වෙන් කරලා identify කරගන්න goods and services of one seller or group of sellers and to differentiate them from the competitor. So brand වල තියෙන වැදගත්කම තමයි අපි brand එක හරියට manage කරොත් අපිට පුළුවන් හරියට product එක differentiate කරන brand එක differentiate කරලා මිනිස්සුන්ව අපේ පැත්තට attract කරගන්න in long term. ඒතර අපිට තියෙන වාසිය අපි බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක බිල්ඩ් කරන එකෙන් අපිට growth එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. හරි brand equity එකක් අපිට build කරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත්. මෙතන පොඩි question එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා, does that mean whenever marketer create a new name, logo or symbol for the product or service, he or she has created a brand? එතන මේක ඇත්තද බොරුද? Obvious na, right? So I mean අපි නමක්කින් දාලා තමයි අපි පටන් ගන්න. ලෝගෝ එකක් දාලා තමයි අපි brand එකක් පටන් ගන්න. නමක් නැතුව brand එකක් පටන් ගන්න බෑ. right? product එක විතරක් තිබ්බට brand එකක් පටන් ගන්න බෑ නමක් නැතුව. So all these things are connected, then only we can build the brand. So guys, තේරෙනවද මම මේ කියන දේ? Are you all clear? පැහැදිලිද කියන දේවල්? Anyone? Anyone here who is not clear? So we are moving on, and when you look at the brand names, my dear friends, the brand names, there are few types of brand naming approaches. අපි දන්නවා brand names අපි දිහා බැලුවොත් එහෙම සමහර මිනිස්සු තමන්ගේ නම දානවා. ජෝර්ජ් ආර්මානි කියලා කියන්නේ මේ right අමානි brand එකේ ඕන. මයිකල් ඩෙල් කියලා කියන ඩෙල් brand එකේ ඕන. හැව්ලට් පැකාඩ් කියලා කියන්නේ බිල් හැව්ලට් ඩේව් පැකාඩ්. එතකොට ජොන් කැඩ්බරිගේ තමයි කැඩ්බරි කියන දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ චොක්ලට් කනවා දන්නේ නැහැ ඉතින් චොක්ලට් කෑවට ඒ කවුද මේක මේවා කරේ කියලා. ඒ වගේ බෝයින් කියලා කියන්නේ බෝයින් තමයි මේ I can't remember his first name anyway. So ඒ එන්ජින් එක හදපු ඒ කෙනාගේ නම බෝයින් කියලා කියන්නේ. ඔය වගේ ගොඩාක් තියෙනවා තමන්ගේ නම දාලා හදන එක. So you got to identify when you look at the brand naming part, right? brand naming වල අපි දකිනවා strategies කිහිපයක්. mainly strategies තුනක් අපි දකිනවා. එකක් තමයි one we identified as the individual product branding. individual product branding කියලා කිව්වහම එතන කතා කරන්නේ ඒ product එකට අදාළ brand එකක් අපි වෙන වෙනම දානවා. දැන් අපිට එතනදී corporate brand name එක ගැන worry වෙන්නේ නැහැ. We don't bother about the corporate brand name. Then now let's say as example Horlicks, Nestamalt, right? අපි අදාළ කරගන්නේ නැහැ corporate brand name එක මේ brands එක්ක කතා කරා. අපි ඒ mechanism එකට අපි කියනවා individual product branding approach එකක් කියලා. ඒතර අපි corporate නම ගාවන්නේ නැහැ. මෙතන sunlight කැටයක් විකුණනකොට corporate නම ගාවන්නේ නැහැ. right? sunlight කියලා කියන්නේ එක brand name එකක්. ඒක වෙනම manage කරනවා. right? එතකොට මෙන්න මේ individual product branding approach එකේදී අපි ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට බලන්නේ ඒ product එකට අදාළ branding එකක් create කරනවා but not connected with any other brand which is already available. And there's another one we identified as blanket family branding. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි කියනවා එක්ක blanket family branding එහෙම නැත්නම් umbrella brand naming strategy කියලා. එක්ක blanket family branding එහෙම නැත්නම් umbrella brand naming strategy එක කියලා කියනවා. එතකොට දැන් එකක් අපි කිව්වා කලින් කිව්වා individual product branding strategy එක approach එකක්. අනිත් එක අපි කිව්වා umbrella brand naming strategy කියලා. umbrella brand naming strategy කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? වෙන මොකක්වත් නෙමෙයි. මුළු product portfolio එකටම අපි එක නමක් දානවා. Samsung වගේ ගත්තොත් Samsung cameras තියෙනවා, Samsung mobile phones තියෙනවා, Samsung TVs තියෙනවා, refrigerators, washing machine මේ ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපි ඒක ගත්තාම එතනදි වෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? එතනදි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ across the board ඒගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන හැම product එකකටම ඒගොල්ලන් Samsung කියන නමෙන් තමයි යන්නේ. ඉතින් මේක අපි දකිනවා umbrella brand naming strategy එකක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක තව විදියක් තමයි blanket family branding කියන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ මුළු product portfolio එකටම ඒගොල්ලන් across the board one single brand name එකක් දාලා models වලින් තමයි ඒගොල්ලන් refer කරන්න යන්නේ. මේක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට ඒ කියන්නේ ඉන්ඩිවිජුවල් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් බ්‍රෑන්ඩින් ස්ට්‍රැටජි එක අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් අපි මේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකට විතරක් දාන්න එහෙම නැත්නම් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් කැටගරි එකට විතරක් දාන එතකොට දැන් අපි මේක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කිව්වේ මේකේ නම යොදනකොට අපි යොදන ක්‍රමවේදය වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ now let's say if you are selecting the brand individual product branding strategy, so which means you make a product and you put a brand name for that. So when you look at the branding for those type of products, then again you need to look at, okay, whether it is matching with the product category what we are promoting, whether it is matching with the type of products and the target market and the target audience whom we are catering with the products. So නොයේ දේවල් අපි බලනවා. අපි නමක් යොදනකොට. ඒතකොට එතනදී කපල් කරගන්න නැහැ අපි corporate name එක. So blanket family brand එක කියලා කියන across the board you put one name, individual product branding strategy කියලා කියන අපි corporate brand name එක use කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපි use කරන්නේ individual product එකට අදාළ brand name එක විතරයි. එතකොට අපි individual product branding strategy, blanket family branding strategy, එතකොට අපි තව එකක් තියෙනවා අපි කතා කරනවා combined brand naming strategy කියලා. combined brand naming strategy. එතකොට combined brand naming strategy එක කියලා කිව්වහම my dear friends, now what do you combine? You're combining guys your corporate name along with the individual product branding strategy. corporate name එක promote කරනවා individual product branding strategy එකත් එක්ක. එතකොට එතනදී මිනිස්සුන්ට trust එක build වෙනවා. alright okay මේ product එක එන්නේ මේ company එකෙන්. මේ product එකේ main partner මෙයා කියන එක ඒ trust එක මත you will be able to build the brand, bring the market share for the brand. So brand naming අපි ගත්තාම ওই විදිහට තමයි තියෙන්නේ individual product branding, black hat family branding සහ combined brand naming strategy තමයි strategies තුන විදිහට තියෙන්නේ. Any questions? Anyone is having any questions?
Sir, explain the combined branding again, sir. I didn't catch that.
Right. Combined brand naming strategy එකේදී කතා කරන්නේ අපි individual product brand එකයි corporate නමයි දෙකම එක්කහු කරලා තමයි combined brand naming එක හදන්නේ. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් ඒවා සම්පත් සපිරි, සම්පත් පුබුදු, People's Bank yes, right, Soft Logic Max, right. අන්න ඒ වගේ අපි ගත්තොත් එimhe corporate name එකත් එක්ක combine කරලා individual brand එක අපි touch කරනවා නම් එතනදී අපි දකිනවා අපි ගමු Toyota Corolla, Toyota Yaris, Toyota Prius, Toyota this, Toyota that, right. එතකොට corporate නමත් එක්ක කපල් කරලා තමයි total main parent brand එකත් එක්ක කපල් කරලා තමයි අපි sub brand එක release කරන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට අපි කියනවා combined brand naming strategy එක කියලා. පැහැදිලිද?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Give me 1 minute. Okay, any questions? Any questions, guys? Anyone is having any questions? Huh? මම මේකේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට links පවා දීලා තියෙනවා එක එක right brands වල. ඔයා ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් අපි ගත්තොත් එම Hallmark කියන brand එක. ඒගොල්ලෝගේ sites වලට බලන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද කරන්නේ කොහොමද brand එක ඒගොල්ලෝ promote කරන්නේ. right ඒගොල්ලෝ කොයි markets වලද ඉන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ කොයි විදියට attractiveness approach එකක් attractive approach එකක් දෙනවද ඒගොල්ලෝගේ products වලට. right අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම I mean Walmart as an example. ඒගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලෝගේ Walmart online cart එක මෙතනක් තියෙනවා. right corporate website එකට ගියාමත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒගොල්ලෝගේ product range ඒගොල්ලෝ promote කරන්නේ කොහොමද කින්ද බන්ද කියන එක. බලන්න පොඩ්ඩක් මේවා Louis Vuitton right නාමල් මහත්තයා අපේ right okay now I can't accept cookies okay right so අපේ Mr. රාජපක්ෂලගේ family එකේම පාවිච්චි කරන brands තියෙනවා ඉතින් මෙතන ඉතින් ඒවා හරි ඒ හින්දා ඒවා ගැන පොඩි study එකක් කරන්න එතකොට ඒක හරි interesting right okay so moving forward now I mean same as sales management and the marketing management we see brand management gurus also right and David Arker who is on your left hand side right David Arker he's one of the top branding gurus in the world and look at how he defined the term brand okay a set of assets and liability යා කියනවා brand එක කියලා කියන්නේ එක්ක set of assets or liability මෙන්න මේ වගේ definitions my dear friends might be tested මේ definition එක කාගේද මේ definition එක කාගේද කියන එක MCQs වලට එන්න පුළුවන් right okay so now see the way David Arker explained the term brand set of assets or liability asset එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ brand එකක් අපි ගාව තියෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ අපිට asset එකක් ඒක වත්කමක් right liability එකක් එක්කෝ ඒක liability එකක් අපි ඒක හරියට maintain කරේ නැත්නම් ඒක අපිට liability එකක් right so මෙන්න he defined in that way either it can be a asset or it can be a liability if you don't manage it properly set of assets or liability linked to a brand's name and symbol that adds okay to the value provided by the product or service. මෙතන add or subtract එක්කෝ මේක add කරන්නත් පුළුවන් values අඩු කරන්නත් පුළුවන් subtract කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. එතකොට මේ brand එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද as per his explanation the term brand is as per his explanation the term brand it guys can you all see right as per his explanation the term brand is basically something either which can works as an asset or liability which will add value to the business or subtract value from the business so that is from David Arker but look at the definition of Philip Kotler here on your right hand side the Philip Kotler's definition is more towards the American Marketing Association definition what you can see here මෙතන තියෙනවා American Marketing Association definition එක so when you look at the Philip Kotler's definition it is more towards the American Marketing Association definition sometimes you might feel it is same which is not wrong from your angle so brand is a name term sign symbol or design or a combination of them intended to identify the goods and the services of one seller or the group of sellers and to differentiate them from the those of the competition so as per his definition of branding he said okay it can be a name it can be a term it can be a logo it can be a sign it can be a combination of name terms logo sign and all these things or few of these to do what intended to identify identify what? The goods or services, product or service, to give an identification for product or service, which is available in the market from one seller to another seller. ඒ කියන්නේ එක sellers ලා දෙන්නෙක්ගේ products වෙන වෙනම identify කරගන්න පුළුවන් අපිට විදිය තමයි brand name එක කියන එක. Branding කියන එක. So based on that, that is the Philip Kotler's definition, my dear friends, and that is having a direct link with the American Marketing Association definition. But Philip Kotler explained this in some other ways as well. When you refer his certain documentaries or his certain videos, in one of his videos, I have come across his explanation on the term marketing and the branding rather. I mean, creating value, communicating value, delivering value to a target market and the target audience at a profit. So the brand, right? So see, I mean, different branding gurus and the branding authors or certain associations define the term brand in a different way. But when you take whatever the definition you come across, you see some kind of a similarity in those definitions. So get an idea with those, the term branding, then you will be able to get it. If we really look at the historical perspectives, study how Adidas, Adolf Dassler, right? Rudolf Dassler came up with Puma and Adolf Dassler came up with Adidas. You identify why when Dassler's brothers works together, there was an issue, right, between these two brothers. So one went out and started Adidas and the other, Rudolf Dassler, continued with Puma. So they do the business right now. So see, now the way these brands have designed and developed, the Nike, the Philnit and the Bowen. Now, Philnit is the athletes, right? Bowen is a coach of these athletes. These two guys get together and design the brand today, which is one of the top leading brands in the world, called Nike, right? So these being in the same category, right, of sports shoes category, see the way they have, I mean, come up with their branding and develop in the world. So you need to have some kind of idea of these brands if you're studying. And Giorgio Armani, right? Armani fashion brand. කාගේද මේ? Giorgio Armani ගේ. Italian fashion designer කෙනෙක්, right? That are one of the products so that you can get an idea. So what, I mean, what he did, right? This is I mean, a wiki article. So you can even, these links are given so that you can go and refer further. Look at what they do, the fashion brands, whose name the owner has used his own name to create the brand, right? Clear? So see the fashion brand Giorgio Armani. Now Boeing as an example. Now see the Boeing, right? William Boeing. Boeing කියන්නේ මොනවද? Aircraft manufacturing engines. Aircraft engines අපි ගත්තා. Boeing manufacture කරනවා. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේවා අහලා කියන්නේ අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ නම් අහලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් මේවායේ origin එක සමහර ලාවට අහලා නැති වෙනවා. You need to have an idea on those things, how these name came up. Cadbury, කාලා තියෙනවා දන්නේ නැහැනේ. ජෝන් කැඩ්බරිගේ නම තමයි මේ කැඩ්බරි කියලා කියන්නේ. චොක්ලට් කනවානේ. අහුනොත් එහෙම ආයි නෑ ගිලලා දානවා. but මොකද්ද මේ කැඩ්බරි කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ නිකමටවත් හිතුවේ නෑනේ. So John Cadbury's name may used as the brand, right? And so මේ වගේ ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම brands by individuals. මේ link එකට ගියොත් ඕගොල්ලන්ට ගන්න පුළුවන් තම තමන්ගේ නම් වලින් brands හදපු කට්ටිය කොච්චර ඉන්නවද කියලා. තමන්ගේ නම brand එකට දාපු එකක්, right? So බලන්න මෙන්න මේ list එකේ මම ඕගොල්ලන්ට list එකට connect කරලා තියෙනවා මෙතන. ඒතර ඕගොල්ලන්ට link කරලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. ආයමුතෙන් හොයන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඉතින් බලන්න දැන් මේ ඩෙල් මයිකල් ඩෙල් ඩෙලොයිට් එක විලියම් ඩෙලොයිට් කියන DHL, donkeys handling luggages. Donkeys handling luggages නෙමෙයි. right බලන්න. Dalsey, then Hilborn and Lind කියන තුන් දෙනාගේ නම් තුන තමයි අර HP වගේ Bill Hewlett Dave Packard. දන්නවද HP කියන නම හැදුනේ කොහොමද කියලා? කවුරු හරි දන්නවනම් කියන්නේ නම හරි Bill Hewlett Dave Packard තමයි ඒ වුණාට HP උනේ කොහොමද කියලා. Anyone knows that? Do anyone knows කොහොමද ඒක ආවේ කියන එක? දැන් Bill Hewlett Dave Packard මේ දෙන්න ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක කම්පියුටර් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක මැනුෆැක්චර් කරලා දැන් මේකට නමක් දානකොට ඒ දෙන්න ඩිසයිඩ් කරා ඒ දෙන්නගේ නම් දෙකේ පළවෙනි අකුරු දෙකෙන් දාමුයි කියලා. Bill Hewlett ගේ H එකයි Dave Packard ගේ P එකයි. එතකොට දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් මේක මොන අකුරද මුලට එන්න ඕනි කියලා බලන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ කොයින් එකක් ටොස් කරා. ටොස් කරලාම H එක ඉස්සරහට අපි තමයි අද HP උනේ. කොයින් එක අනිත් පැත්තට ගියා නම් අද HP නෙමෙයි තියෙන PH තියෙන. So see අපිට brands හරි funny විදියට සමහර brands එළියට එන්නේ. Right? But those brands are carrying a long way in their journey. So that is the beauty. So go through those links, my dear friends. So everything is given there for additional learning so that it is easy. So, and why this brand important? Because you as a sales manager, sales professional, you should know why this brand. And මේ brand එකක් නැතුව අපිට ගේම ගහන්න බැරිද? පුළුවන් ගේම ගහන්න බැරි කමක් නැහැ. දැන් හාල් පොල් සීනි විකුණනවානේ brands නැතුව. හැම මේවා කරන්නේ අරලිය නෙමෙයිනේ. නිපුණ නෙමෙයිනේ. හැමෝම කරන්නේ මොන ඔය තියෙන brand name වල ඒවා නෙමෙයිනේ. So පුළුවන් නැත්තේ නෑ. Commodities still not branded, certain commodities නේ. So එතනදී අපි බලන්න ඕනේ මේකේ why do brand matters, why it is so important කියන එක බලන්න. So it gives some kind of a identification for the product. It's true. That is what we were talking about. And the other one, it gives some kind of a responsibility to the product maker, right? What do you mean by this responsibility? When the brand is growing further, right? And if your brand is developed just because of the quality of the product what you manufacture, and the manufacturer, the product maker should have the responsibility to maintain that quality. Otherwise, your brand will decline from the market. So brand works as the risk reducer. දැන් අපි brand එක risk reducer එකක් විදියට වැඩ කරනවායි කියලා කියනවා. ඒතර brand එක risk reducer එකක් විදියට වැඩ කරනවායි කියලා කිව්වහම මොනවද risk reducer එකක් විදියට වැඩ කරන්නේ? කොහොමද? Brand is taken care your financial risk. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරනවා නම් product එකකට ඒක branded product එකක් නම් ඕගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා බය වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. එහෙනම් මේ product එක support service එකක් තියෙනවා මේක මේ ගේන්නේ මේ පුද්ගලයා මේක known brand එකක් කියලා දන්නවා. Now let's say as an example you are investing for a TV and the TV's name you have not even heard in the market and they are asking you all to buy. So what happened? You might think twice. Okay, මේක ගන්නද? මේක දන්නෙත් නැහැ. මේක birth certificate එකක් මොකක්වත් නැහැ TV එක. අම්මා මුත්ත නැහැ මේ TV එකේට. right නිකම්ම ඔහෙ කියනවා මේ let's say අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදිහට චන්චින් TV කියලා මොකක්ද බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් ගන්න චන්චින් කියලා. දන්නේ නැහැ අපි නේ. මොකද්ද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද නමක් ඕන නමක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. So එතනදී මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ අපිට risk එකක් මේකට සල්ලි දාලා. මේක අද අරන් ගිහලා හෙට කැඩුනොත් කවුද ඉන්නේ? right හදන්න මේකට authorize කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද? So risk එකක්. But when you talk about Samsung, LG and all these those products, you know someone is there. So risk factor is taken care. Those brands has been there in the industry over a period, so you don't have a risk of buying the product. And the other one, if we take that is financial risk, I said, and the time risk is there. Time risk කියලා කිව්වම සමහරලාට product එක මොනවා හරි failure එකක් වුණොත් අපිට හදාගන්න යන time එක branded products වලදී අපිට ඒක නැති කරගන්න පුළුවන්. අනිත් එක තමයි product එක select කරගන්න යන time risk එකත් අපිට අඩු කරගන්න පුළුවන් if it is a branded product because we know we trust the brand. Time risk එක තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම තමයි social risk එකක් තියෙනවා. I mean the brand is taken care. I mean social risk is taken care by the brand. එතකොට social risk එක කියලා කිව්වම guys අපි කියනවා දැන් we'll take a very basic example, right? When you're wearing a branded watch, you openly I mean use it. Na? Let's say you're using a Chinese phone, right? Very basic Chinese phone. Then, I mean, the person who is using that type of a product is not behaving as a person who is using an Apple, right? Sometimes you don't even take the call in public because you are so embarrassed. So social risk is taken care by the brand. Social risk is taken care by the brand. සමහර brands තියෙනවා මිනිස්සු ඒ brand එකෙන් තමයි life එකට elegance එකක් ගන්න බලන්නේ. So social risk is protected. So no social risk with those brands. So like that. So risk factors අපිට අඩු කරනවා. Risk factors we will discuss further, right? Search cost අඩු කරනවා. මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා අපිට select කරගන්න යන search cost එක අඩු කරනවා. It promise something or bond because you like to work, you like to associate with the brand because you know it reduce the risk factor and your bond is there because you know that you are benefited with it. But if it is not a known brand, if it is not a reputed brand, if it is not a brand which has been there in the industry over a period, you might not take your decisions, the buying decisions. So like that, it gives some kind of a promise, right? Symbolic device, as I said earlier, I mean, Rolex watch එකක් දාන කට්ටිය short sleeves අඳින්නේ. That is a research, right? එතකොට Rolex watch එක දාන කට්ටිය ඒක symbolic device එකක්. ඒක තමන්ගේ quality එක පෙන්නන්න, තමන්ගේ තත්ත්වය පෙන්නන්න, right? Which is something I don't believe in, right? අපි පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ තියෙන products වලින් නෙමෙයි අපේ quality එක පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ, but branding එක අපි use කරනවා තමයි. අපි ඒක පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ අපිට තියෙන අනෙක් values වලින්. So signal of quality, as I said earlier, because you don't worry to purchase if it is a branded product and you know the quality is guaranteed කියන එක. So it gives some kind of a signal of quality as well. So any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone? මොනවාරි questions තියෙනවද? Guys, මේ මට assignments වගේක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. Let me, I will check it hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow නෙමෙයි, tonight. බලලා ඉවරලා I will give you all the feedback. Yesterday was a bit tough. Right. Any question so far? So now we are moving into the, I mean, we were talking about why do brand matters. Earlier also we were talking about brand is an identification and it gives a legal protection for you. මොකද brand එකක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඔයගොල්ලෝ study කරොත් එහෙම there are so much of fake brands. Fake, ඒ කියන්නේ original නෙමෙයි, non genuine, fake. ඔකට අපි කියනවා counterfeit brands කියලා. එතකොට අපි හිතමු අපේ brand එක කවුරු හරි duplicate කරොත්, then if we have taken the brand name, if we have done our brand name registration, logo registration, trademark cautionary note, ඒ ඔක්කොම අපි අරගත්තා නම් copyrights අරගෙන තියෙනවා නම්, no one can duplicate your brand logo and design the products. So you can take the legal protection for your brand so that it will be benefited you in long run, and it will give much better advantage in a way where your competitor cannot copy your brand and do it, brand logo and everything. So you need to make sure you do it. So we were talking about signal of quality, right? Means I mean, in doing the products with the unique association, as I said, I mean, wearing branded garments, wearing branded watches, using branded, I mean, consuming in branded restaurants, kind of thing. So some kind of a unique association built along with the brand. Yeah, it's sources of competitive advantage. It gives certain details that are connected with the competitive advantage. We were talking about that, right? Okay, minimate the risk factors. This can be tested at your exam. This can be tested at your exam. So financial risk. මම කිව්වා අපි වියදම් කරන සල්ලි protect වෙනවා. If it is protect වෙනවා කියලා කියන අපිට බය නැහැ. අපි වියදම් කරන product එක අපි trustworthy. අපි දන්නවා මේක branded product එකක්. මේකට මොනවාරි දෙයක් වුණොත් කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවා කියලා. Physical risk in the sense, okay, when you are consuming the brand, you know that you will be protected when using the brand. දැන් අපි තුමු unbranded product එකක් තියෙනවායි කියලා ඉවල. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ ගන්නවා unbranded mobile phone එකක්. කොයි වෙලේ සාක්කුවේ දාගෙන ඉන්නකොට බැටරි එක පුපුරයිද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට ඒකේ physical risk එකක් තියෙනවා එතන නේ. physical risk එකක් තියෙනවා එතන. එතකොට ඒ පැත්ත අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒක ඒ වගේ branded product එකක physical risk එක අපි අඩුයි. අඩුයි නැහැමයි කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් risk එකක් තියෙනවා but අඩුයි. Financial risk we were talking about, social risk we were talking about, psychological risk ඒ කියන්නේ mind එක. කොයි වෙලේ product එක කැඩෙයිද කියලා sure නැතුව තමයි product එක ගත්ත වෙලාවෙ ඉඳලා ඉන්නේ. Psychologically you are not comfortable because you have purchased a product which is not known for anyone, right? So ඒ වගේ psychologically you will not be comfortable. People might come and say, hey look අපරාධ, you bought this product, you could have purchased the other one, right? එතන psychological risk එකක් තියෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට. ඒ කියන්නේ brand එකක් හරි brand එක ගත්තේ නැත්තම්. Time risk is there. The failure වලදී recover කරගන්න එක, product selection එක, if it is mainly unknown brand, එතනදී ලොකු time involvement එකක් තියෙනවා. That also risky. So you got to identify that. මේ area එක question වෙන්න පුළුවන් area එකක්. I'm not taking much time but I will explain you all so that you all can get an idea. Any question? Anyone is having any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Anyone is having any questions? We are going to identify the difference between the brand and the product. But before that, any questions? Any? Anyone? No one. ඔක්කොම තේරෙනව නේ? Issue එකක් නැහැ. Right, cool. Okay. මේකෙන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ප්‍රශ්න මේ area එක පොඩක් unique area එකකින් සාමාන්‍ය ප්‍රශ්න 5ක් විතර එන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්න 5ක් 6ක් එන්න පුළුවන් මේ area එකෙන්. Okay. මොකද මේක මොකද branding subject එකේ අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම වෙනමම අපේ program එකකුත් යනවා. ඒකෙන් ඒක database එකේම questions තියෙනවා 300ක් විතර. ඒ question 300ම එන්නේ නැහැ මොකද ඒක it's a huge area. නමුත් ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේකෙන් එන්න පුළුවන් සාමාන්‍ය ප්‍රශ්න 5ක් විතර. මේකේ තියෙන weight එකත් එක්ක. Then just don't miss. Right? Especially theory models එහෙම miss කරන්න එපා මේකට අදාළ. Right. So let's move on. Product versus brand. I mean, there is a huge difference between the product and a brand. මට කියන්න product එකද මුලින් ආවේ brand එකද මුලින් ආවේ? Product එකද මුලින් ආවේ brand එකද මුලින් ආවේ? Can someone tell me? Which came first? Product or a brand? Huh? Cool. Guys, y'all can hear me, right? Product එකද මුලින්ම ආවේ brand එකද මුලින් ආවේ? හරි අපි
I think product, sir.
You think product, okay.
Yes.
Howද? නිලන්ත.
Nilantha.
Right, okay, good. නිලන්ත කොයිද work කරන්නේ?
මම convenient foods ලංකා, sir.
Convenient foods. හරි. Good. So what else? What else? කවුද මේ දේව්ශිකා කියලා ඉන්නේ මට මේ අදම අහුවෙච්ච නමක් මං හිතා. දේව්ශිකා ඉන්නවද ක්ලාස් එකේ? දේව්ශිකා? දේව්ශිකා කොයිද work කරන්නේ?
undergraduate University of Peradeniya.
ඔය මං හිතන්නේ පළවෙනිම පාරදකද ක්ලාස් එකේ කතා කරන්නේ. එහෙමද?
Yes, sir.
excellent. ක්ලාස් එක නැද්ද?
I know, sir. Attend.
ඈ? අන්තිමටම ක්ලාස්
එන්න
ආවේ
sir.
කවුද?
I know,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
එදා තිබ්බේ හවස evening session එක.
weekdays වලටත් ආවද? ඕකේ. හරි. ඕකේ. ඕකේ මොකක්ද ආවේ මේ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකද ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකද ආවේ? මුලින්.
Product එක.
මුලින් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක ආවේ. ඕකේ. තව මොනවද තියෙනවද? ඕකේ පුතා. හරි බලමු අනිත් අයගෙන. ගායෂාන් මොකද හිතන්නේ? ගායෂාන්
Yes, it's a
product.
Yeah.
Where are you working, Gayashan?
technomedics.
Technomedics, okay. බලමු තව එක්කෙනෙක්ගෙන් අහලා. චමින්ද ගුණරත්නද කොහෙද මෙතන ඉන්නේ? චමින්ද.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chaminda.
Sir, I think product.
You think product. Where are you working?
I work at Estlon Lanka Private Limited, sir.
Okay, cool. You think product came first? Hari.
Yes, sir.
බලමු තව එක්කෙනෙක් 359 නිෂාරි. චමින්දට පස්සේ ඉන්නවා ඉෂාරි. 359 නිෂාරි. ඉෂාරි මොකක්ද ආවේ මුලින්ම? ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකද බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකද? ඉෂාරි 359 මොකක්ද ආවේ මුලින්ම? Just sipping my tea, okay? ඉෂාරි නැද්ද මෙතන? On hold. තව එක්කෙනෙක් ධනුෂ්ක 450 ධනුෂ්ක 450 බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකද ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකද මුලින් ආවේ? ධනුෂ්ක 450 579 Lakshani. 579 Lakshani. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
මොකක්ද මුලින් ආයේ? බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකද ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකද?
මට හිතෙනවා සර් බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක කියලා. මොකද ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් වෙනස් වෙනවානේ කාලෙන් කාලට ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස්.
Okay. Where are you working?
ඩයලොග් සර්.
Dialogue. Right. Okay, guys, it's like this. Good, thank you. It's like this. This is like chicken and egg story, yeah? Right? අපිට කියන්න බෑ කිකිලිද බිත්තරේද මුලින් ආවේ කියලා. කාට හරි කියන්න පුළුවන්ද? බිත්තරේ මුලින් ආවේ කිකිලි මුලින් ආවේ කියලා කියන්න බෑ. It's branding also like that. Right? So it depend. In simple term, it depend. සමහර වෙලාවට brands ඇවිල්ලා products පස්සේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. සමහර වෙලාවට products ඇවිල්ලා brands පස්සේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. සමහර වෙලාවට ওই දෙකම එකට එළියට එන වෙලාවක් තියෙනවා. right? මම උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් එහෙම okay, I'm not going to talk about the micro level operation where they design their brands and keep it within them and you know එහෙම නෙමෙයි. Now let's say as an example, in technology industry, okay, certain brands have built and saved under their name. මම උදාහරණයක් කියලා කිව්වොත් එimhe ගොඩක් domain names ගත්තොත්. හරිද? domain names ගත්තොත් අපිට ගොඩක් domain names, good domain names have already taken those brand names, right? But not a single domain out. එක වෙබ්සයිට් එකක්වත් නැහැ. නමුත් ඒ brand names reserve කරලා තියෙන්නේ. හරිද? මේක එකක් උදාහරණයක්. තව අපි දකිනවා සමහර entrepreneursලා සමහර brands register කරලා තියෙනවා not a single product. logo එක register කරලා තියෙනවා. Right? If you really go to the company registrar office, the logo registrations they have done, brand name registration they have done, but not a single product under that brand name because it takes a bit of a time here. Right? Guys, පොල් කටු තියනවා නම් එවන්න පුළුවන් මේ පැත්තට පොල් කටු ගන්නවා කියලා. Give me one. Right? එතකොට දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම brand name එක දාවේ product එකද මුලින් ආවේ කියලා කියන්න බෑ. දැන් තව උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් rice mill ownersලා ඔය brand එන්න පටන් ගත්තේ දැන් අවුරුදු 10ක් 15ක් විතර නනේ හාල් බෑග්ස් වලට ඔය බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් කරලා එවන්න ගත්තා. ඊට කලින් මොනවද තිබ්බේ products. Right? ඊට කලින් තිබ්බේ products. So it depend. Right? So now let's say as an example, okay, when you look at the brand and the product, you identify few different perspectives in a brand and a product. When you look at a product, my dear friends, there are three main areas covered under a product. And this model we are using to talk about how we can identify the customer real expectation and convert that into a marketable position by building an actual product. And also not stopping from that point, how we can differentiate our product further by adding values, by adding intangible values, and have a uniqueness among rest of the brands available in the market. So when you look at your product we can identify in 3 layers, as I said while ago, and one is the core customer value or the core product layer, which means what is the real purpose of using the product. Then car එකක වාහනයක real purpose එක මොකද්ද? transportation. රෝද 4 ගැලුවට පස්සේ ඒකේ transportation එකක් තියනවද? නැහැ. එහෙනම් එතනින් එහාට ඒක transportation purpose එකට යන්නේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ එතනින් එහාට ඒක exhibition item එකක් විදියට විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් product එක වෙන්න නම්, so you got to identify the core purpose of using this product. Why we are using this product, the vehicle නම් එහෙම දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම let's say electrical drill, right? electric drill එකක් ගමු අපි උදාහරණයක් විදියට. එතකොට electric drill එකක් අරගත්තොත් ඒක මොකටද පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? එක්ක බිත්තියක එහෙම නැත්නම් ලෑල්ලක වගේ මෙහිලක් හදාගන්න. එතකොට දැන් requirement එක තියෙන electric drill එකද? නෑ. need එක core purpose of using the product what? අර එක්ක ලෑල්ලේ එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ බිත්තියක ඒ හිලක් හදාගන්න යම් කිසි size එකක. එහෙනම් purpose එකද core purpose is that vehicle එකක් transportation එකට. දැන් dialogue එකේ කෙනා මොකටද dialogue පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? core purpose එක මොකද්ද? කො දැන් අර dialogue එකේ කෙනෙක් කතා කරේ. sorry. core purpose එක මොකද්ද? කො දැන් අර dialogue එකේ කෙනෙක් කතා කරන්නේ නැද්ද? ඇයි dialogue පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ?
ඒක විසම මට තේරුණා.
Okay, what is the purpose behind using dialogue? What is the core purpose? behind using dialogue? Why people use dialogue?
ඒක ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙනවා සමහරක් අය බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක හින්දා ඩයලොග් පාවිච්චි කරනවා අනිත් අය සමහරක් අය කවරේජ් ඒ කියන්නේ අනික් ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් වලට සාපේක්ෂව කවරේජ් තියෙන හින්දා යූස් කරනවා ඒ වගේ ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙනවා
ඔය ඔක්කොම අමතක කරන්න. When you said why they are purchasing, but what is the real main purpose? I mean, coverage එකකින්ද මොබිටෙල් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. right? ඔය dialogue වැඩකුත් නැහැ, මොබිටෙල් වැඩකුත් නැහැ, හාච් වැඩකුත් නැහැ, ඔය SLT වැඩකුත් නැහැ, ඔය මොකක්වත් වැඩක් නැහැ. මේ purpose එක නැත්තම්. මේ requirement එක නැත්තම්, core benefit එක නැත්තම්. What is that? අර කාර් එකක් වාහනයක transportation කියන එක අයින් කරාට පස්සේ මේ ඒකේ කෝ benefit එකක් නැහැ. එතනින් එහාට. Yes, yeah. Now communication. Now it too said. Rumesh said communication. Rasanjali said communication. Communication. අපි හිතමු communication කියන part එක අයින් කරා කියලා. එතනින් එහාට dialogue එක වැඩක් තියනවද? Core purpose is what? Data communication or voice communication. The purpose is communication. Core purpose of using the product we got to identify. Because when you identify the core purpose of using the product, you can make many products to cater the same core purpose. දැන් අපි ගමු උදාහරණයක් විදියට කෑමක්. ඇයි කෑමක් අපි කන්නේ? හරිද? ඇයි කෑමක් කන්නේ? බඩගින්නටනේ. එහෙනම් බඩගින්නට කන කෑම එකයිද තියෙන්නේ? ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. මට ඕනම් පොල් රොටියක් කන්න පුළුවන්. මට ඕනම් පාන් කන්න පුළුවන්. මට ඕනම් ඉන්දියාප්ප කන්න පුළුවන්. දෝසෙ කන්න පුළුවන්. පරෝටා කන්න පුළුවන්. ෆ්‍රයිඩ් රයිස් එකක් කන්න පුළුවන්. කොත්තුවක් කන්න පුළුවන්. පීට්සා එකක් කන්න පුළුවන්. බර්ගර් එකක් කන්න පුළුවන්. But what is the core purpose? අපි හිතමු දැන් මේ උගුර ගාවට එනකම්ම මම පුරවලා ඉවරයි කියලා ඉවරලා. එහෙම පුරවන්නේ නැහැ. Don't take me wrong, right? අපි හිතමු පුළුවන් තරම් කාලා ඉන්නේ කියලා මම. දැන් මාව එක්කන් යනවා කවුරු හරි හිල්ටන් එකට එක්කන් යනවා. right? Do you think I can eat? That core purpose is taken out. Need, the core requirement is taken out. If that is the case, that product is not needed anymore. So you got to identify this. You got to identify. Because when you identify the purpose of using the product, you can make a product differently than your competitor. Differently than your competitor. Now, take as an example, Rode product, Rode brand which came up into the market, the electric bike, which works with your mobile phone, right? Hope you know this. Okay. What is the purpose? The transportation. Transportation. He identified, okay, the technology was there. He identified the purpose of transportation is important right now. Already push bicycle තියෙනවා, motor bicycle තියෙනවා, car තියෙනවා, lorry තියෙනවා, van තියෙනවා, helicopters තියෙනවා, plane තියෙනවා, ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා transportation නේ. ඔය ඔක්කොම පාවිච්චි කරන transportation එක. Right? And he identified the core purpose of this. කොච්චර සල්ලි ඉතුරු කරන්න පුළුවන් වුණත් වැඩක් තියෙනවද transport කරන්න නැත්නම් transportation purpose එක cater කරන්න නැත්නම් Rode කියන product එකෙන්? So the core purpose you got to identify. When you know the core purpose, you can design many products. Now the communication was the core purpose in telecommunication industry. So initially, Graham Bell wire එකක් දිගේ මේවා කල්ලිවල කතා කරන්න පටන් ගත්තා. හරිද? එතකොට දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒ purpose එක wireless උනේ කාලයක් ගිහිල්ලා. ඒ purpose එක wireless උනේ කාලයක් ගිහිල්ලා. ඒ purpose එක GSM උනේ කාලයක් ගිහිල්ලා. එහෙනම් GSM එක දැන් 4G 5G වෙන්නේ මේ technology development එකත් එක්ක expand වෙගෙන යනවා. whatever the core purpose අයින් කරලා අපිට develop කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑ. right? දැන් මම ඔහොම කිව්වා මේක පාරක් මේ ළමෙක් කියනවා සර් මොනවාද limousines ගන්නවා wedding වලට. right? ඒක limousine එක ගන්නේ wedding location එක විතරයි. right? කියලා. ඒතර transportation නෙමෙයි. No guys ලංකාවේනේ ඔය කියන්නේ. But then again කොට උඩ තියෙන ලිමසින් එකක් අරගන්න නැහැනේ. right හොටෙල් එක වටේ කරකවන්න හරි right කට්ටිය එළියට යනකම් ලිමසින් එකේ නග්ගගෙන කපල් එක ගිහිල්ලා ටවුන් එක වටේ වටයක් ගහලා කට්ටිය ගියාද කියලා හරි වෙලා ආයි හොටෙල් එකට එනකම් හරි transportation එකනේ එකෙන් කේට කරන්නේ. right ඉතින් මම කියන්නේ ඒ core purpose එක අයින් කරොත් අපිට product එකක් නැහැයි කියන එක. ඉතින් our intention should be to identify that. Either based on this core purpose, around this core purpose, you create many products, my dear friends. Right? එතකොට දැන් sunlight ගත්තත් කරන්න රෙදි හොදන එක තාම මොනවා හරි මේ තාම මොනවද රෙදි හොදන සබන් තියෙන්නේ. කැට ගත්තොත් බොන්ඩ් ලයිට් තියෙනවා තාම. ඒව ගත්තොත් මොනවා ගත්තත් ඒ රෙදි හොදන අපි let's say as example the rinso sunlight and all these things right diva all these things are washing powder you for what the purpose of cleaning clothes so purpose එක තියෙනවා නම් අපිට products ගොඩක් හදන්න පුළුවන් different features different designs different packaging different quality different names now let's take the transportation industry. Transportation industry, the core purpose is the transportation or travel from one location to another location and different features starting from Tata Nano, right? You have Mercedes, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, right? All these, okay? So designs, different packaging, right? Then ඉතන packaging කියලා කිව්වම මේ කාර් එකක් කොතලා නෙමෙයි එන්නේ කියලා. Just talking about outlook. The quality, different quality patterns, different names. All these things are, the actual product converted by looking at the core benefit. And you being a sales manager or the sales professional should know how to differentiate your product among rest of the competition by looking at the actual dimensions. Not only that, so the brand owners are designing their brand in a way where you have some augmented values කියලා කිව්වම අපි අර tangible component එකෙන් එහාට ගිහිල්ලා we add some more intangible values and bring brand augmentation, right? Some more value additions we do. We are adding intangible values, after sales services, warranties, guarantees, brand values as an example, the brand personality, the brand culture, the brand attributes and attitudes and all these things. So those are some kind of brand related elements you add into the product and augment it. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ augmented layer එකේදී අපි කතා කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? Intangible value additions. Actual product එකේදී අපි කතා කරන්නේ tangible value additions. So අපිට මෙන්න මේ actual product layer එකට එනකන් anyone can duplicate our effort. Right? I think I might have told you all also, we can manufacture the same BMW car, BMW without BMW logos or anything, exactly the same thing can come out from the same factory. But if you take BMW and MPW, you don't pay the same price for MPW what you pay for BMW because it is not a BMW. ඒ කියන්නේ tangible product එක කොච්චර එක වුණත් brand එකේ තියෙන අනිත් values, intangible values base කරගෙන අපි සමහර වෙලාවට product එකට value high price එකක් pay කරනවා. ඒ වෙන්න හේතුව තමයි brand augmentation. එතකොට you being a salesman, how you can use it? You can justify your price gap by looking at the brand augmentation, product augmentation. You can justify. Let's say මුදලාලි might say අයියෝ මාත්‍යා මේක මෙහෙමයි නේ කියලා ඉවල මේක කරන්න බෑනේ මේ sorry මේකේ price එක වැඩිනේ මේකේ price එක අඩුයිනේ computer එකේ price එක අඩුයිනේ අරක මේකයි. So you can justify. You should look at the product values and then differentiate using your the features and the benefits and the augmented values. Now when you look at the brand is moving not bit actually Actually, the advanced version of the product, I might say the brand, because once you design the product, there are so many things you got to concern. There are so many things you got to work to convert the product into a branded product. So you need to, yes, of course, you need to have the name, the brand name, and there's something called brand personality. මොකද මේ brand personality එක කියලා කියන්නේ මිනිහෙක් විදියට අපි brand එකක් දකිනවා. brand එකක් අපි මිනිස්සෙක් විදියට දකිනවා. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම Dove soap එක ගත්තොත් කොයි වගේ personality එකක්ද? කොයි වගේ person කෙනෙක්ද appear වෙන්නේ Dove soap එකත් එක්ක? Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me? Dove soap එකත් එක්ක Lux එකත් එක්ක කොයි වගේ person කෙනෙක්ද appear වෙන්නේ?
Some celebrity.
Celebrity, right? Celebrities ලාත් ඉන්නවනේ. කොයි වගේ celebrity කෙනෙක්ද? Celebrity කියලා කිව්වම gents ලාත් ඉන්නවා, right? කොයි වගේ celebrity කෙනෙක්ද? Huh? What type of a celebrity? Roger Federer celebrity, sports celebrity කෙනෙක්නේ, right? දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ Marvel එකෙත් ඉන්නවනේ Iron Man ට ඉන්නේ කවුද? එයාත් celebrity කෙනෙක්නේ, right? අපේ කවුද? ජීවන් කුමාරතුංගත් celebrity කෙනෙක්නේ. I'm just saying, okay. මම මේක බටම Iron Man එක කනෙක්ට් කරලා ඉවරලා මේ ජීවන් කුමාරතුංගව කනෙක්ට් කරලා ඒ දෙන්න එකට නෙමෙයි. එඩි ජයමාන්නත් celebrity කෙනෙක්නේ. I'm asking what type of a celebrity connected with the brand called Lux?
Mostly a girl
Dove.
who is in the film industry, something like that.
Okay, we might say, okay, feminine personality, definitely feminine, female personality, and with a good beauty, right? So that is how the personality connected with the brand. That is how the personality connected with the brand. So මෙතනට අපි දාන්නේ නැහැ sports personality එකක්, right? Jerome is saying popular personality in the fashion segment. Okay, but feminine with beauty. Now, let's say as an example, මෙතනට අපිට දාන්න පුළුවන් ද Lux Dove එකත් එක්ක sports personality එකක් බෑ. Because that is not the brand main communication. It talks about the beauty. Now, but let's say as an example, you talk about Lifebuoy, you talk about Dettol. Can't be, okay, what type of a personality you talk about? Lifebuoy, Dettol. What type of a personality? අපි මේ කියන්නේ brand එකක් අපි පුද්ගලයෙක් විදියට හිතුවොත් කොයි වගේ පුද්ගලයෙක්ද අපිට appear වෙන්නේ කියන එක. So Lifebuoy, Dettol, ඊටෙක් okay protective personality එකක්. සමහරවිට doctor කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් තව එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් sports personality එකක්. Germ killing කියන personality එක focus කරගෙන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So like that you can talk about user imagery, right? Use කරන මිනිස්සුන්ට feel වෙන විදිය brand එක. සමහර ඒගොල්ලන්ට මම මේක commonly කියනවා. Some people are go for when especially girls go for shopping, they buy stuff from different location and go to a brand. If in case go to a branded outlet and purchase certain item, they put everything into that branded outlet bag and bring. අන imagery එකක් user පාවිච්චි කරන user ගේ image එක build කරන්න පුළුවන් brand එක. So in the morning also I said certain things. Okay, we identified the branded watches. When you are consuming a branded watch, you want people to see that you are consuming. And one of the third class user imagery activity of Sri Lankan personalities, what we see, personalities, Sri Lankan people I have seen, okay, whenever they go to a good hotel or a restaurant, they just put it in FB and, you know, so those things, those user imagery, right? So they try to show themselves along with the brands what they are communicating. Emotional benefits you bring. I mean, we were talking about the risk factors are taken care by the brand. The emotionally you are comfortable. Wow, I'm using a branded product. And I will tell another example. Let's say you are driving a Tata Nano. I'm just saying. Okay, you are driving a Maruti, rather going into Tata Nano level, Maruti, and you go to a corporate function or a wedding. Let's say as an and you might park the vehicle about 100 meters away from the location and you might walk, right? You might not try to show off with that. But let's say, as example, you're driving a BMW, you're driving a Mercedes-Benz, you're driving some Volvo kind of a vehicle in Sri Lankan context, Jaguars. You might try even to go and park in front of the party house. These are mentalities that are connected with the brands, I'm saying. Okay, I'm not saying anything wrong in it, but these are the behavioral patterns that are connected along with the brand, because brand owners clearly know this. Then they use that to get the benefit out of their effort. So those are emotional benefits that they are connected. User imagery, self-expressive benefit. Then self-expressive benefit. Eva hambu වෙනවා, right? Brand customer relationship. Now you trust the brand, you start consuming the brand, you know you are benefited with the brand, then the relationship build, right? Brand එකක් purchase කරනවා, ඔයා happy, ඒ brand එක දිගටම purchase කරනවා. So relationship build along with the brand. So organizational association, the brand supply කරන organization එකත් එක්ක associate. So country of origin, අපි කියනවා, right, certain country of origin products are not not good. If the country of origin is from this country, it is good, kind of a things. So you're getting. So මෙන්න මේ වගේ symbols, logos and all these things are connected. So අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම product එකක් brand එකකින් වෙනස් වෙන්නේ. Sorry. මෙන්න මේ dimensions based කරගෙන. Any question? Sorry, any question? Any question? Anyone is having any question? Guys, by the way, ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ assignment එක okay නේද? Senal, are you there? Senal hari Samadhi hari කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද? Are you all there? Senal, Samadhi? Right. ඔගොල්ලෝගේ assignment එකේ submission guidelines email එකට කොහෙටද submit කරන්න තියෙන කියන details ටික අද ඔගොල්ලෝගේ group එකට එයි. So whoever possible, please do submit. Then we can, then anyway, the day after the deadline, they will start the rest of the things. Hari, any questions? Anyone is having any questions?
Yeah, sorry, sir.
Yeah, Chaminda.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
What? I can't hear you. Chaminda, I can't hear you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Chaminda, kya?
Sir, අපිට මාකට් එකේදී සර් සමහර තැන්වලදී සර් මේ එකම බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් නේම් එක තියෙන එකම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක හම්බ වෙනවා සර් ඔරිජිනල් සහ ඩුප්ලිකේට් කියලා.
ඔව්.
එහෙම වෙන්නේ කොහොමද සර්? අර දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට කිව්වොත් සර් මේ හැක්සර් බ්ලේඩ් එක ඒක අර එක්ලිප්ස් කියන එකේ සර් ඩුප්ලිකේට් එක කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ නමින්ම හයි ස්පීඩ් කියලා තව එකක් තියෙනවා.
ඔයා ඊස්ට් එකට ගියොත් පැනඩෝල් එක ඒ විදිහටම තියෙනවා.
ඔව් දැන් සමහරට ෆෝන් charges ගන්න ගියාමත් Samsung original Samsung duplicate කියලා තියෙනවා සර්.
ඔව්. ඒක වෙන්නේ මේමයි. ඒක වෙන්න හේතුව තමයි දැන් අපි හිතමු මම අද බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් රිලීස් කරනවායි කියලා, අලුත්ම බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක්. එතකොට මගේ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක එච්චර පොපියුලර් නැහැ. කවුරුවත් ඕක ඩුප්ලිකේට් කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. කවුරුවත් ඕක කොපි කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. කවුරුත් දන්නේ නැති බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක්. ඕක එන්නේ මම කිව්වා කවුන්ටර්, ඕවට කියනවා අපි fake, counterfeits, right, non genuine, right, replica කියලා. logo එක නැතුව, brand නැතුව එනවා, replicas දෙනවා, same product without branding. හරිද? එතකොට fake products, counterfeit products, එහෙම නැත්නම් non genuine products, duplicates එන්නේ known brands වලට. දැන් Nike අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම Nike related logos යනවා සෑහෙන්න. Puma, Adidas, Giordano අපි ගත්තොත් එමේ ඒවයි counterfeits එහෙම නැත්නම් fake products සෑහෙන්න යනවා. ඒක වෙන්නේ brand, if your product is getting popular in the market, right? So if your brand is getting popular in the market, unethical businesses are trying to take advantages out of your popularity. Out of your popularity. හරිද? එතකොට එතනින් වෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? If you have not taken the legal protection for your brand, you will not be able to take any action or you can't claim any damages from those fake product suppliers. I will tell one of the example which was happening in 2003-4 time period. I wonder whether I have shared this with you all. And Microsoft once raided few companies in Bambalapitiya area, including few shops in Peta, Bambalapitiya MC, and Unity Plaza, and some people, those who are counterfeiting the Microsoft operating system. ඒ කියන්නේ fake කරනවා, CDs ගගහ විකුණනවා. The Microsoft original version was what? About 10-15,000. So what did they do? They were recruiting, they were taking Sri Lankan, they hired a Sri Lankan lawyer and started raiding those places, those who counterfeit or fake the product, right? So then with that they identified, and they even went into a completely different dimensions and started sending personalized letters for top companies and the company owners, saying that if your company is using fake product of Microsoft, they are taking legal action. They are taking legal action. They could do so because they have the legal protection for their brand. But මට legal protection එකක් නැත්තම් මගේ brand එක කවුරු හරි duplicate කරන වෙලාවක මට මෙයාට ගිහිල්ලා කියන්න බෑ මම ඔයාව සූ කරනවා මේ ඔයා මේක මට මේකට payment එකක් කරේ නැත්තම් කියලා. So which means what? You need to take some kind of a legal action. And the other one, I will tell another example. So ඒක කරන්න පුළුවන් legal action එකක් ගන්න අපිට එක්කෝ copyright law එක යටතේ එක්කෝ trademark registration ඔය ඕගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති brand name එකක දකුණු පැත්තේ උඩ තට්ටුවේ what do you call it, top right hand corner, you get the sign of R, you get the sign of TM, you get the sign of C. හරිද? ඒතර TM කියන්නේ trademark, C කියන්නේ copyright, R කියන්නේ registered කියන්නේ. ඔය එකක්වත් නැත්තම් ඒ කියන්නේ ওই brand එක legal protection එකක් අරගෙන නැහැ කියන එක. සමහර ඒගොල්ලෝ එහෙම අරගෙන තිබ්බත් ඒ logo ඒ sign එක දාන්නේ නැහැ. Right? But you should have that legal protection. Then only you can take the action against them and claim the damage. You can claim the damage. Right? මොකද ඕගොල්ලෝගේ popularity එකෙන් වෙන කෙනෙක් margin එකක් හොයනවා නම් ඒ margin එක recover කරන්න පුළුවන්. So that is the reason even Microsoft went into a completely different level and send letters to the corporate sector companies saying that if you are using Microsoft fake version, we will raid you and we will sue you. කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ ඊට පස්සේ ඒගොල්ලෝගේ original version එක අඩු prices වලට corporate sector එකට popular කරන්න දැම්මා. At the same time, they communicated all the local vendors, those who are selling computers and the PCs, not to sell any, not to install any fake version of Microsoft. Right? එතකොට ඒක වෙනුවට ඒගොල්ලෝ low cost version එකක් introduce කරා. I think by 2007 වගේ ඒගොල්ලෝ introduce කරා Microsoft Vista කියලා version එකක්, low cost version එකක්. So ඒක ඕනම PC එකකට දාලා දෙන්න. ඒ reason එකේ හින්දා මොකද්ද කරේ? ගොඩක්ම PC vendors ලා කරේ ඊට පස්සේ Ubuntu කියන එක Linux version එක install කරලා දුන්නා. මිනිස්සුන්ට දාගන්න ඒකවා ඒගොල්ලෝ fake දානවා නම් Microsoft. So you can do that if you have the legal protection to the brand. Same thing happened to couple of printer brands which was available. HP, Dell, not Dell, by that time Dell was not there. HP, Lexmark, Canon, Epson, and there was another brand. I can't remember the other one, right? They identified fake cartridges. Fake cartridges. Again, original cartridge එක රුපියල් 10000යි නම් fake cartridge එක දෙනවා රුපියල් 3000ට. obviously මිනිස්සු ගන්නවනේ fake cartridge එක අඩුවෙන් තියෙනවා නේ. ඒතර මොකද්ද කරේ? They were appointing once again, I think Shalani Ratwatte was the lawyer by that time they appointed, and they started raiding companies and 3 shops completely sealed for 3 months in PETA. Right, those who imported fake cartridges and distribute in the country. So අන්න ඔය වගේ action ගන්න පුළුවන් if you have some kind of a legal protection. එහෙම නැත්තම් බෑ. Nike counterfeit සෑහෙන්න යනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතන්න එපා genuine outlets වල ඇර අනිත් සමහර outlet වල තියෙන original එක කියලා ඉවර නෑ. fake products ගොඩක් තියෙනවා market එකේ. So ඕක නතර කරන්න නම් බෑ. right, නතර කරන්න පුළුවන් එකම විදිය තමයි legal action අරගෙන දාන එක. But you have to have some kind of a proof saying that this brand ownership is with you කියලා. පැහැදිලිද? ඕක බ්ලේඩ් වලට තියෙනවා, කොට්ට මෙට්ට වලටත් තියෙනවා, right, හැම එකකටම තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් එහෙම Nike එක ඒ අකුරු හතරෙම Nike key කියලා i එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා. ඒතර Puma එක pum කියලා තියෙනවා. Puma කියලා තියෙනවා. right, Puma foam කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නම් ළඟින් යන ඒවා. right, Puma එකේ ටයිගර් වම් පැත්තේ ඉඳලා දකුණු පැත්තට නම් පයින්නේ, fake එකේ දකුණු පැත්තේ ඉඳලා වම් පැත්තට ජම්ප් එක යන එක තියෙනවා. right, Nike එකේ whoosh එක තියෙන්නේ මේ අතට නම් පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක angle කරලා ඉවරලා ඒ අතට දාන්න. ඔය fake products. ඒ purpose එක fake brands. So purpose is what? To get the mileage out of the popular brand and earn money. පැහැදිලිද?
Thank you, sir.
Telecine. Okay, එහෙමද මම ඒක දැනගෙන ඉන්නවා. Thank you very much. Telecine. එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා. Okay, good. Right?
I said S-loan ගානේ Z-loan කියලා.
Now it's not there.
Okay. S-loan Z-loan. நான் ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ. Right? Yeah, there was another one. S-loan ඉතින් Z-loan is loan.
S-loan කියන්නේ S අකුරනේ. මුලට S අකුර.
Yes.
ඒ S අකුර ඊට පස්සේ LON. සමහර මේ ඩුප්ලිකේට් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් ගහනවා Z අකුර ගහලා LON.
Yeah.
කස්ටමර් එක සමහරට බැලුමට අඳුර ගන්න බැරි වෙන වෙලාවල් තියෙනවා.
Yes. Okay, yes. Right. So have you all taken any action against it? It's bit challenging, huh? ඒක නම් පොඩ්ඩක් challenging. මොකද ඒක වෙනස්ම name එකක් නේ. ඒතර අරක S loan මේක Z loan. Right? මේ sorry, I got disconnected, I guess. Poor network quality. Get back. Right, okay. Now okay. Cleared? එතර counterfeit fake කියලා කියන එක අපිට නතර කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි, but it is there, but you have to have education program for customer to identify. හිතන්න එපා, ඒ කියන්නේ there is a segment in this country who worried mainly on the branded products. මතක තියාගන්න. They will pay premium on those branded products and they will buy them. There is a segment in that this market like that. So any question there? Then the කොහෙද නැගිටලා තියෙන්නේ then කෑ ගහන්න. Right. Okay, now we are moving further into the branding one. Brand එකක් manage කරනවායි කියලා කියන්නේ guys, there are two major areas we got to manage in a brand. So අපි කතා කරන්නේ එන්නේ ඒක, right? එතකොට sales manager කෙනෙක් විදිහට you should have an idea, okay, what are the areas we got to focus on කියන එක. Let's see. Right. Okay, any questions so far? Clorox bleaching, Clorox bleaching. Okay. Must be an industrial product, so that is why it is not that famous. So yeah, I mean, see, similar, one single letter different. Chlorox, Clorox, bleaching items. There are enough and more like that. Okay. So replicas තියෙනවා replicas කියලා කොහොම brand එක නැතුව product එක තියෙන වෙලාවල් තියෙනවා same product without the brand, right, or with a different brand name. ඒ වගේ තියෙනවා. Okay, cool. So we are moving into another area of brand management where we talk about two major areas to focus if you are developing a brand. My dear friends, now when you're working on a brand, even as a sales manager, if you are focusing in building the brand, you got to focus on something called functional value. In another word, we call it as mechanistic value, mechanical value, or we can say tangible values, tangible perspectives. Functional values kiwa, mechanical values kiwa, tangible values kiwa, mechanical or tangible perspectives කියලා කිව්වා. ඔය ඔක්කොම මේ එකම දේ තමයි මේ වචන ගොඩකින් කිව්වේ. Same thing in different words, right? Tangible values, mechanical values, mechanistic values, right? Mechanistic perspectives, tangible perspectives. So in your brand, you have something called tangible values. And also at the same time, you have something called intangible values. So you got to have a clear idea about managing these two and these two values. If not, what will happen when you focus on one particular area and try to build a brand, you will lose the market and you will not be able to build the brand for a longer period. So the two major aspects in building the brand, we identified as the functional perspectives or the functional values, as well as the other one we identified as emotional values, or else we identified as intangible values, or else we identified as psychological values, which is connected with the consumer psychology. Right? So මේ areas දෙක තමයි අපි කතා කරන්න ඕනේ when you're building the brand. So when you look at your brand, you as a sales manager, if you talk about, if you are selling your brand, you should take the brand and see, okay, what are my functional values? What are my features? What are my benefits? So the functional values are the values that are connected with the features and the benefits and all these things. So what are my intangible values? So in your slide, you have this where you can work and see, make a functional value එකද emotional value එකද කියලා බලලා check කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So feature එකක් ගත්තොත් මේක functional ද emotional ද? ඔයාගේ මේකේ තියෙන brand එක build කරන්න හදන විදිය ගත්තාම is it a functional value or a emotional value? Intangible value, brand personality, culture, right? And how you feel with the brand when you are using. So all these things cannot touch and feel, right? So those things you get when you use the product, consume the product. But specification, design, features, all these things are touch and feel, right? Mechanical values. So tangible, intangible, two major areas we need to look at when you are managing a brand. So them we identified as the mechanical perspectives and the psychological perspectives. Now look at this image, my dear friends. Look at this image. Now tell me, do you pay the same price for both? Tell me, do you pay the same price for both? Mechanically, both products are 100% identical. Not a change in a fraction. දශමකවත් වෙනසක් නැහැ mechanically. එකම engine, එකම features, එකම design, එකම tire condition, එකම lighting, එකම ඔක්කොම එකම. වෙනසක් නැහැ. එමමයි. But one is Mercedes-Benz and the other one is Nissan. Will you pay the same price for both? Tell me. Will you pay the same price for both?
Can't, sir.
Why? Mechanically both same.
But brand names values are high, sir. Mercedes-Benz value is higher than Nissan.
Right. What I'm going to do now, right? What if I remove this and put the Mercedes-Benz name? What will be the answer?
Product value goes high, sir.
Product value goes high. Okay. Rumesh said no කිව්වේ මොනක් කලින් එකටද මොකටද කියන එක confusion එකක් තියෙනවා. Right, now see guys, mechanically the product is same but two different values. එහෙනම් mechanically same කියලා කියන tangible values එකමයි. product එක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ කොතනින්ද? intangible values වලින්. intangible values වලින්. එහෙනම් intangible values ඔය brand එකක connect වෙන්නේ කොතනද? brand personality එක. කොයි වගේ එකක්ද? brand culture එක. කොයි වගේ culture එකක්ද brand එකත් එක්ක associate වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? brand එකේ තියෙන unique attributes මොනවද? brand එකේ attitudes මොනවද? brand එකේ identity එක මොනවද? brand එකේ image එක මොනවද? country of origin මොනවද? අන්න අපි අනවර අපි අතන කතා කරපු brand versus product කියන differentiation එක. Right? brand versus product කියන එකේ differentiation එකට යනවා. Which means what? I mean, up to the mechanical dimensions, anyone can duplicate. But emotional dimensions, you can't duplicate. So you can add more and more values by managing more and more emotional components. I will tell another example. Make a real world example එකක් නෙමෙයි. මම කරේ මොකද්ද? Maybe Mercedes-Benz image එක මාරගෙන මෙන්න මේ Nissan image Nissan logo එක ගැහුවා එක විතරයි මෙතන කරේ. මේකම real world example එකක් ගත්තොත් Lamborghini Murcielago product was duplicated by the Iranian car designer Moradi in 1970s and designed exactly the same Lamborghini Murcielago with same features, same design, same capacity. But Iranian car designer Moradi can't sell the same product at the Lamborghini Murcielago price. Why? Mechanically same, but it is not Lamborghini and it is not Lamborghini Murcielago. So, මෙතන තමයි අපි බලන්න ඕනේ guys. Right? එහෙනම් there are two things in your brand what you are selling. Emotional values and the functional values. You got to identify depending on the product what you sell. I had the two major things. So when you look at by all these things, now you get a unique definition for the brand and the term branding. Look at carefully these two definitions. Brand is a combination of tangible values, which means mechanical, mechanistic, physical, and intangible values, emotional, psychological, moral driven values. A brand is a combination of mechanical and emotional values that are needed to adapt periodically. මෙන්න මේ periodically vehicle එක adapt උන් නැත්තම් features benefit mechanical functional change උන් නැත්තම් අදටත් අපිට දකින්න වෙන්නේ 1970 ගණන් වල තිබ්බ මේ BMW එකම තමයි. Mercedes BMW එකම තමයි මතක තියාගන්න. So adaptation and periodically adapt to the changes. Technology, environment, expectation, everything. Right? Periodically uplift both seller and brand, adapt periodically to what? to uplift both seller. Seller means what? The brand owner. මේ brand එකෙන් brand ownerවත් uplift කරන්න ඕනේ, brand userවත් uplift කරන්න ඕනේ. By augmenting its total identity and image. By augmenting, ඒ කියන්නේ by expanding the total identity and image, you have to do it. You can do it. So මේ brand එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ නිකම්ම නිකං නමක් නෙමේ කියන එක මතක තියාගන්න. Look at your brand and see what are the tangible values, what are the intangible values, what are the values evolve over a period, what are the values that was changing over a period, and identify them. Then you can identify the periodically how it was evolving and how it is benefited seller. සමහර brands sellers ලා විකුණන්න හරි ආසයි, ලේසියෙම විකිනවා. සමහර brands sellers ලා විකුණන්න නෑ, රිජෙක්ට් කරනවා, බෑ. හරියට පුෂ් කරන්න ඕනේ, brand එක ෂුවර් නෑ, කොහොමද කියලා විශ්වාසයක් නෑ. සමහර brands buyers ලා pull කරනවා. සමහර brands buyers ලා pull කරන්නේ නෑ, රිජෙක්ට් කරනවා. right? එහෙනම් මේ brand එක දෙන්නටම benefit වෙන්න ඕනේ. consumer ට benefit වෙන්න ඕනේ, seller ට benefit වෙන්න ඕනේ. How? By augmenting values. ඒ දෙන්නටම ඒක helpful වෙන්න ඕනේ, සහ ඒ දෙන්නගේම brand එකේ identity එක, image එක වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ, සහ ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ identity එක, image එක වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ මේකත් එක්ක. පැහැදිලිද? So it's that definition is having the complete gamut of the brand. And the term branding is a collection of mindfully integrated activities. හොඳට හිතලා integrate කරපු activities ටිකක්, collection එකක්. මේ එකක් දෙකක් එක activity එකක් නෙමෙයි. Now when you are talking about the brand name BMW, it is a collection of mindfully integrated activities. හොඳට හිතලා කල්පනාවෙන් manage කරලා combine කරපු activities ගොඩක එකතුවක් තමයි මේක. මේ branding කියලා කියන්නේ. අපි කරන activities, advertising, sales, promotion, personal selling, direct marketing, indirect marketing, interactive marketing, PR ඔක්කොම integrate කරලා හැම තැනකදීම එකම විදිහට manage කරලා යන approach එකක් එක. For what? To reflect the brand identity. The brand එකේ තියෙන recognition එක, identity එක, image එක reflect කරන්න. Where? Inside the market. How? With agility and adaptability. Why? Environment එක periodically change වෙනවා. අපේ agility and adaptability එක කියන්නේ අපිට බැරි නම් agile වෙන්න, අපිට බැරි නම් අනුගත වෙන්න, adapt වෙන්න. Then we will not be able to do. So because of that, you have to build this identity and image inside the market with better agility and the adaptability with the time and changes in the environment. ඔහොම වුණ නැත්නම් අපිට branding හරියට කරන්න බෑ. පැහැදිලිද? Any question? මම මෙතන links දීලා තියෙනවා එක එක websites වලට, right? ගිහලා බලන්න. ඒ links ටික ඔයගොල්ලෝ refer කරනකොට එක එක TV commercials දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ටික just have a look. Just have a look. Any question? Any question? Brand and branding කියන එක any question? Anyone is having any question? Anyone? Any questions, guys? Anyone? You all have any questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Jerome here.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify one thing now. There are we can take biscuits. There are like brands like Nice, like that, but it is common for Melbourne and Munchie. So that how works. Like who owns the brand?
okay, it is category. Mari is a category. Munchie Tikiri Mari is the brand. Melbourne Gold Mari is the brand. Cream cracker is a category. Munchie එකේ තියෙන්නේ super cream cracker නේ. Melbourne එකේ තියෙන තා මොකක් හරි cream cracker. ඒතර nice කියලා කියන්නේ biscuit category එක. සීනි චුට්ටක් දාපු අර ඒ biscuit එක නේ කියන්නේ. ඒක biscuit category එක. brand එක වෙන්නේ ඒක අර Munchie එකේ තියෙන Munchie එකට ඒකට වෙනම නමක් තියෙනවා Munchie. මොනවාද අර චූටි උනත් nice Munchie nice මොකද ඒක තව brand එකක් තියෙනවනේ. That is a category. That is a category. Clear? Good question. Good question.
Yes.
Those are categories. Any more questions? Yes.
Hello, sir.
Chaminda. Yes, Chaminda.
සර් සමහර බෑන්ඩ්ස් තියෙනවා සර් මේ සමහර රටවල නම්බර් 1 සමහර රටවල සර් ඒක එන්න බෑ ළඟටවත් මේ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි 4 5 අතරවත් නැති විදියට උදාහරණයක් විදිහට සර් දැන් යාටෙල් ගත්තොත් ඉන්දියාවේ කෝටි 100ක් ඉඳලත් උඩින්ම ඉන්නවා ලංකාවේ කෝටි 2ක් ඉඳලත් එන්න බෑ සර් උඩට එතකොට සර් මේවා බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් කරනවත් එකම කියන්නේ මැනේජ්මන්ට් එක ටොප් මැනේජ්මන්ට් එකකින් එනවා දින සර් මේකට අයිඩියාස් එතකොට ඇයි සර් ඒ සමහර කන්ට්‍රීස් අල්ලන්න බැරි විදිහට ඒවලට අයිඩියාස් එන්නේ නැත්තේ දැන් උදාහරණයක් ඉන්දියාවේ පුළුවන් ලංකාව වගේ රටක ලේසි වෙන්න බෑ සර්
Okay.
එයාට ඒක වගේ තව තියෙනවා
I will come up with now. Right? Now see as an example, right? Okay. Hamelan Prahalab ke core competency model එක අපි ගත්තොත් මට ඒකෙන් ඕක explain කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. So that is a core competency. Indian origin Indian brands are highly demanded in the Indian market, and the government also basically subsidize those brands to protect the brand and for revenue generation purpose. So those are core competencies within that particular brand. Right? Inside Korea, Korean brands Hyundai, Kia and Samsung, inside Korea it's pretty strong, but in other markets, why the government subsidies are there for those brands? Inside China, certain brands are very popular, even in automobile industry. The Geely brands like Geely, even certain technological products you see. So inside China, you have a huge popularity, and the number one in that. That is only one thing. That is only one thing, which means the core competency and the origin and where you talk about your own country. Then the other one, the country's economic condition. So අපිට luxuries Europe market එකට luxuries නෙමෙයි. Right? අපිට BMW උනාට Europe market එකට මේක average car එකක්. Right? අපිට BMW එක Mercedes Benz එක luxury වෙන්නේ අපේ economic condition එක උඩ. But US market එකට just the transport one. අපේ ලංකාවේ ඇතුලේ ඇත්තටම කියන්නේ the product like Lamborghinis are very less compared why the economic condition, but for other countries it has the different economic values. So the brand survival comes along with not only the branding strategy but also the macro and the microeconomic environmental perspectives. Political decisions, maybe the socio-cultural decisions, maybe the technological changes, economical changes, ecological changes, all these things are connected with that. So India, why Airtel, but why not here in Sri Lanka? The reason, the strategy may be same. And also another thing, certain brands neglect the local, certain countries, but the presence is there, but they don't bother about the rest. They don't bother about the rest. But certain brands are maintaining certain standards. I will tell as an example, since HP as a brand, Hewlett Packard as a brand, I don't know the current condition. I'm saying when I was managing the brand under a particular company, and their intention was to be the number one volume seller in whatever the regions that they are operating. It's a number one volume seller in the sense, in certain regions they go at a loss, certain regions they go on profit. But whatever the regions, they want to sell the highest number of machines. So depending on the approach, it depends. It depends. එතකොට අපිට කියන්න බෑ එකම strategy එක දාන්නේ අපි. The global marketing strategy is also there. Then now I'm coming into something like McDonald's as an example. Right. So when you look at the McDonald's, you talk about the franchisee operation, where you talk about global or the regional marketing approaches. If you look at the Happy Meal, the toy gadget, what you're getting for Happy Meal, right? Even you go to Singapore, you get the same Happy Meal toy, not the the toy. Even you go to Maldives, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, India, Vietnam, Cambodia, all these countries, Asia and region countries, right? So you get the same toy product. Why they are practicing the either regional marketing promotion strategies or the global marketing promotion strategies. But sometimes their presence may be highly attractive in Sri Lankan context, but it may not be there in the Vietnam, Cambodia. It's not that much. Even India, it's not that much kind of a thing. So it depends on the other actors. So you can't just say, right? So now see the Taco Bell chain is coming up here in big time, and it's just another very basic brand in the other countries, you know. But see the way we accept and our country's condition, or whatever the country, not only our country, whatever the country's condition, it depends the brand's popularity or not. පැහැදිලිද? Good question, right? So brand එකේ strategy එක විතරක් නෙමෙයි macros and the micros influence වෙනවා ඔකට. ඒකයි මම උදාහරණත් එක්කම කිව්වේ. So it happens. මම ඒකයි කිව්වේ පිට ලක්ෂරි
Clear, sir.
ලක්ෂරි නෙමෙයි. Clear?
Clear, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you, sir.
No worries. Any question? Anyone is having any question? Right. Okay. So let's take a quick break. I need to give you all. Okay. I need to talk about another area. So I think the leadership we have to take it. I wonder whether whether I'll be taking the leadership or someone else will be taking the leadership. But anyway, I will come up with whatever the models that are remaining. If not, I'll be doing a quick recap on whatever the areas we covered so far, which will benefit you all on the final exam. So we'll take a quick break. Now it's 4:09 and 4:20, 4:30 we'll meet up. 4:30 we'll meet up. Okay. Right. We'll take a quick break. Okay, right, I'm back. Right. So we'll be taking the leadership one. So give me 1 minute. Right, okay. Yes. Right. Guys, leadership in you as a sales manager, how y'all build your leadership? What are the things y'all got to do to build your leadership? And what do you mean by the leadership, first of all? How do you basically manage your personality to become a proper leader? And how that will bring the productivity of your team, you should know. Now tell me someone, what do you mean by a leader? Who is a leader? Who is a leader? How do we identify a leader or a leadership? Do we really have leaders right now in the country? Or we have dealers in the country? Deal masters in the country? Okay, tell me, what do you mean by the term leadership? Can someone?
It's like leading a team towards some objective by setting examples to the team as well, right? Not only like commanding. You stay together with the team and show the examples to them as well and lead the team towards objectives. Is something like that?
Very good. Yes, very good. So anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone? Right. Yeah, of course, actually, the leadership, if we really looked at, okay, the person, I mean, there should be definitely followers to become a leader. Otherwise, you can't be a leader, right? And before I explain the meaning of it, so there's a very famous saying called leaders are born. Leaders are born. What do you think? Do you think the leaders are born or leaders are made? Can someone tell me? Leaders are born. What do you think? What do you think that statement, the leaders are born? Hmm? How do you justify that statement? Anyone? Do you think the leaders are, I mean, do you agree with that statement? Leaders are born. Hmm? Can anyone? Anyone who is agreed to that statement? Anyone who is agreed to that statement? Leaders are born. Anyone? Good, which means no one agreed with that statement. So it's easy for me to ask a question, right? Now I will ask 606. Who is this? 606. Kaudame. Kasun. Kasun, are you there? Kasun?
Oh, sir.
Yeah, Kasun, which company you are working? Which company you are working?
Dialogue.
Dialogue. Right. Kasun, now you don't agree, you agree to the term leaders are born, right? Agree or not to that statement? The very famous statement, leaders are born. Huh? උපතින්ම නායකයෙක්. ඒක agreed?
Agreed.
Why? How? දැන් ඔයා කාසල් එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඇහුවොත් අද ලීඩර්ස්ලා කී දෙනෙක් ඉපදුනද කියලා උත්තර කීයක් හම්බ වෙයිද? කාසල් එකට ගියා, ලේඩ් රිජ් එකට යනවා, නයින් වේල්ස් එකට යනවා, ඔය ඉන්න බබාලා හම්බ වෙන හොස්පිටල්ස් වලට යනවා. ගිහලා අහනවා ડોක්ටර් අද ලීඩර්ස්ලා කී දෙනෙක් ඉපදුනද? මොකක්ද?
රැකම්බෙන් නැහැ ඒකට.
මන් දන්න ලීඩර්ස්ලා නැහැ පැටව සෙට් එකක් නම් ආවයි කියලා කියයිනේ. right? අපි හිතමු ලීඩර් කෙනෙක්ට පුතෙක් හම්බුනායි කියලා. හොඳ ලීඩර් කෙනෙක්ට පුතෙක් හම්බුනායි කියලා. Do you think that kid becomes a leader?
No.
Question mark. Question mark. There is actually the leadership qualities you can build in you. Leadership qualities you can build by nurturing yourself around leaders. By looking at how, give me 1 minute. Diesel call එකක් එන්නේ. give me 1 minute. Right. Sorry, guys. Sad story. Right. So, අන්තිම මොහොතේ ඩීසල් ඉවරලා තියෙනවා vehicle එක ගියට වැඩක් උන්නේ නැහැ. හරි. Okay. So leadership we were talking about the leadership basically yes you need to have subordinates if you are to become a leader. Leaders are not born actually. Leaders are made. So if you are basically nurturing yourself around a good leadership then those things comes into you. Those behavioral patterns comes into you. With that you also nurture yourself, develop yourself with those skills and the capacities what you need to become a good leader. So it doesn't come with the genes. It basically comes along with the behavior. I mean, you might see the leaders are sometimes okay suddenly come up into the picture due to the situation, right? So I'm not saying the Facebook leaders and all these things. Sometimes what we see in current context now, let's say as an example, if we see Nelson Mandela, right? Depending on the situation, he became a leader, right? He became a leader. So like that. So you identify the leadership is not something born. උපතින්ම ලීඩර් කෙනෙක් වෙනවයි කියන එක ඒක වඩා අපි දකින්නේ leaders are made I mean through the environmental changes or through the environmental factors. So the leader means the person who guide set of subordinates or set of people to achieve common objectives, not the individual objectives. So you might say terrorist leader as an example. They might, some might work on the individual objectives. So those are not the good leadership qualities. Those are selfish approaches. But the leader in the sense, okay, even a terrorist leader, as an example. So you might see not the personal objectives they are talking about. They talk about the objectives of the entire terrorist group. So those also we see the leadership over there, but those leadership is not in the correct direction. So Mother Teresa is a good leader. People start following them without even asking them to follow. The good leaders are basically build followers automatically. They don't have to ask people to follow me or whatever, right? So the leadership is like that, my dear friends. So it's not easy to build because you need to create good credibility among you. On you to create so much of followers behind you. So you need to have certain skills. Based on skills, sometimes some people become leaders. So let's say as example, your company, you have someone who is having a skill on a particular technical matter, and he automatically becomes leader and people start following him or her to get certain things done. Based on the knowledge and the skills and the capacity, people become leaders. So whatever, so we see in the leadership, you have something which valued by the set of subordinates or the followers, and you drive them to achieve the common objective. That type of approach we identified as the leadership approach over here. So I mean your decision making capacity. So you need to look at whatever the qualities you need to have to become a good leader. So guys, it's like this. Sometimes we feel like okay, them අත්හරිනවා මේ game අත්හරිනවායි කියන එක. It's not a good quality, good characteristics of a leader, right? It's so challenging, it's so difficult, especially in the current context, right? You might have felt sometimes, okay, I mean, give up everything and do something else, you know. So I mean, it's not a good quality of a leader. So let's say you drop in sales right now. You drop in, your revenues. So that doesn't mean that you have to give up everything and stay without doing anything. You can't do like that. You need to find certain avenues to come up with the condition. It's so difficult. When you be with it, you find certain avenues to come up from those conditions. So self-confidence should be there as a leader. මේක නෑ මට කරන්න පුළුවන් මේක I can do කියන mentality එක should be there. Bit challenging. Sometimes nobody will be there behind you, but you will be alone sometimes. Even your peers might move away from you when you take certain decisions, but can't help. You should have the self-confidence to do it. සමහර වෙලාවට company එකෙන් company might blast you to do certain things. You might feel no. So you need to have some confidence. No, I will hold it. I will handle it. කියන mentality එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Otherwise, you will not be able to do it. And you have to initiate certain things. So followers are basically do not initiate. හැමතිස්සෙම මොකද කරන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලෝ තව එක්කෙනෙක් කරන දෙයක් follow කරන එක තමයි කරන්නේ. So the good leaders are initiating things and they try to change maybe sometimes even the environment for the benefit of the common objective, to reach the common objective. So you being a leader should be able to initiate things and get things done using your subordinates and the team members. And your energy. අපි දන්න සමහරලාට සමහර කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා හොඳට knowledge එක තියෙනවා හොඳට capacity එක තියෙනවා but
You, sir.
Sir, you are muted, sir. Sir, you are muted.
So we can't hear you, sir. But still can't hear.
So we can see you, but we cannot hear you, sir. I think there's an issue with the mic. We still cannot hear you, sir. No, sir, no, still cannot hear. So maybe you can try logging out and logging in. Might work.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Super. Give me 1 minute. I will open the LMS. Right. So can hear, right? Can see the screen, right? Can hear, can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. So then the energy we were talking about. අපි දන්නවා සමහර ලාට right සමහර managers ලා ඉන්න උදේ පාන්දර දැක්කම කැඳත් නෑ. අඳුමක් හරියට අඳින්නේ නෑ. right එතකොට මූණක් කටක් හරියට හොදන්නේ නෑ. එතකොට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඔහේ එනවා. ඔහේ ඇවිල්ලා job එක කරලා යනවා. So you don't show a good punch to the audience. No energy. So you can't do like that. Then you being a manager, you being a leader, actually now don't ask me me. So there is a difference between a manager and a leader. Theoretically, yes. So you should have a managerial skills with a good leadership qualities. So very simple, right? So managerial skills with the leadership qualities. So you need to have theoretically, yes, manager and a leader, you have certain things, certain differences. So you need to be a manager with a leadership quality. So that is what the ultimate expectation should be. Leadership is a quality, manager is a designation role, what you are playing. So you got to identify that. So creativity when you really look at. So you need to have some kind of a creative capacity. If one thing is not working, what is the other option you can use to build the team? Or to reach your objectives. So you should be able to go and build that creativity in you. So the maturity, the way you think on the overall aspects, the way you basically believe on certain things, you should show some kind of a maturity in you when you do those things. So that is another area. So I mean the managerial skills, when you really look at, you should have problem solving capacity, decision making capacity, interpersonal skills, communication skills, right? Persuasive skills, motivate people, right? So those capacities, managerial skills should be there as a leader. නැත්තම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? ප්‍රශ්නයකට උත්තරයක් හොයන්න බෑ. ප්‍රොබ්ලම් එකක් සෝල්ව් කරන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. දැනුමක් නැහැ. ඇනලිටිකල් මයින්ඩ් එකක් නැහැ. ක්‍රියේටිව් මයින්ඩ් එකක් නැහැ. එතකොට ඒක වැඩක් කරගන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. මිනිස්සුන්ව යූස් කරන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. So communication capacity එකක් නැහැ. audience එකක් address කරන්න capacity එකක් නැහැ. තව එක්කෙනෙක්ව convince කරන්න capacity එකක් නැහැ. So if that is the case, you can't be a good leader. You can't be a good leader. So you need to have some kind of a good managerial qualities also there. Then only you can build yourself as a good leader. You got to identify that. And when you look at, I mean, leadership is a deep area, but we are just looking at a few models over here. When you look at the leadership, there are a few different leadership styles we identify. Right? There are a few different styles of leadership we identify. Right? And when you look at, we categorize the leadership styles in two patterns. One is the transactional leadership style and the other one is the transformational leadership style. So transactional leadership style means, right, you worried about the task-oriented approach. Task-oriented approach. Then තව විදියකට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම task orientation and the people orientation is another two dimensions we can talk about. So transactional leadership is more towards achieving the task and not by looking at the people concerned. So when you become a leader, you should have the task orientation as well as the people orientation. So you can't be 100% transactional leader or 100% transformational leader. You need to have some kind of a mix. But you got to identify the meaning of transactional leadership for you to define yourself later or to change your behavior with the mix of these two. So transactional leadership is more towards controlling your team to achieve a particular task, but not considering much on their personal developments. You worried about the task orientation, the task achievement. You motivate them by maybe sometimes giving compensation, the packages and the commission and all these things, but not by transforming their behavior. Not by let's say as example changing their morals. No, you basically I mean, if you work, you get this. If you don't work, you don't get this. Kind of a rewards and punishment approach you are working on the transactional leadership. But transformational leadership, you see completely the opposite version of the transactional leadership. In the transformational leadership, you worried about the people development. You worried about their career development. You worried about their self-satisfaction. You worried about their personal growth. And when you show that type of a leadership, and we identified your leadership as a charismatic leader, where people start following you. Not by force, but by themselves. They feel and follow yourself. So these are the two types of leadership styles we identified. One is the transactional leadership, and the other one we identified as the transformational leadership, right? So let's look at the other leadership style. Other leadership style, basically we identified as the situation leadership. So when you look at the transactional leadership, you worried about the task. You worried about the task, right? So I mean, you manage with whatever the activities you try to monitor and manage your team to reach the goal without looking at their personal expectation. අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදියට අපේ ඉන්නවා සේල්ස් කරන ළමෙක් උදාහරණයක් විදියට. ඒ ළමයාට ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා personally ඒ ළමයාට මේ උදේට ඔෆිස් එන්න විදියක් නැහැ. This is a common example, right? උදේට ඔෆිස් එන්න විදියක් නැහැ. මොකද එයාට වෙනවා එයාගේ අම්මට බෙහෙත් ටික වෙලාවට දීලා ඊට පස්සේ තමයි යාට ඔෆිස් එකට එන්න වෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපි මේක අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගන්න නැතුව මේ ළමයාව ප්‍රෙෂර් කරනවා. No, you have to start your work by 7:30. If you don't come by 7:30, you have to leave the place and you have to find a different job and all these things. So which means what? You are not a people oriented leader, right? Your transactional, you show the transactional leadership or the task-oriented leadership. So you can't be 100% into that. You can't be 100% into that. And also, you can't be a transformational leader also 100%, right? You build their personal life, you build their, you show a career path, you show their growth, you show them the future, and you work as a role model, and you guide your team to reach the final objectives. So in Sri Lankan context, what will happen if you try to be a servant type leader where you always support them to achieve their personal objectives and ඊළඟ මාසේ ඔයාට ඔයාගේ සීට් එක නැති වෙලා ඌ මැනේජර් වෙනවා. ඕක තමයි ලංකාවේ context එකෙන් තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ. ඉතින් මැනේජර් සපෝට් එක දෙන්න ඌ ටික දවසක් යනකොට බලනවා මැනේජර්ට ගහලා ඉවරලා මැනේජර්ගේ සීට් එක ගත්තා නම් මම තමයි මැනේජර් කියලා. ඒක තමයි ලංකාවේ තියෙන dirty culture එක සමහර subordinates ලගේ. So you can't be a 100% servant type leader or the transformational leader also. So depending on the situation, sometimes you will have to take people-oriented decisions. Depending on the situation, sometimes you will have to take the task-oriented decisions. As an example, now let's say your foreign order, the shipment is due by tomorrow morning, and you're running out of few pieces of your production. So by that time, okay, sometimes you will not be able to be soft in front of the situation. You might even force the people to increase their productivity and the capacity. You might sometimes have to take tough decisions to bring someone who is not in the operation level and place him or her into the operation level and make them actively involved on the production to get the job done. So by that time, you will not be able to be so soft for them. Sometimes you will have to command them. Sometimes you will have to ask them to stay overnight and finish the job and go, no matter what condition. So because the situation is crucial. So some might argue if you are having a good transformational leadership, the people will automatically work. Don't expect that also all the time. So you being a leader need to identify the scenario, and depending on the scenario, you should decide whether you go ahead with the transactional leadership approach or the transformational leadership approach, or in another way, people-oriented approach or the task-oriented approach. So that is depending on the situation. So your leadership approach should be a situational leadership approach. So you are, of course, soft, but whenever you want to take tough decisions, you are taking tough decisions as well. So you always, let's say you are tough, and whenever you want to be soft, you being soft also. So like that, depending on the situation, you change your behavior, you change your decision-making pattern, you change the way you take the decision, your approach and everything, and change your leadership approach to get the final output done from the given situation. So that type of approach we identified as situational leadership, and also there's another word what we identified as contingent leadership. Contingent leadership, which means contingent in the sense, depending on the situation, you change your pattern and approach the situation to get the maximum out of the given situation. So, other than that, autocratic leadership, bureaucratic leadership, servant type leadership, different leadership styles are there. But generally, we see in sales management either transactional or the transformational leadership. But we recommend a sales personality to be a contingent leader or the situation leader, rather being 100% servant type or the transformational leader, rather being 100% people, the task oriented or the transactional leader. So your behavior should go in a balanced approach to manage the sales force in your organization, right? So outcomes when you look at of a good leadership, right? So, I mean, when you become a good leader, you can build your sales team effectiveness. You can improve the effectiveness of your sales team, right? You will have well-trained sales force under you, right? If you are a good leader. I mean, if you are a good leader, no, guys, I mean, no backstabbing. රයිට් පිටිපස්සෙන් ගිහිල්ලා පීයෙන් අයින සිද්ධි නැහැ. අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා සමහර තැන්වලදී සමහර කම්පනීස් වල ඔය ඩිස්කෂන්ස් වලට ගියාම දැන් when we are talking to them individually we identify so boss මෙහෙම කරා ආරම්භ කරා එයා මෙයාට විතරයි ෆේවර්ට් කරන්න එයා අපි කොච්චර කරත් සමහර වෙලාවට අපි කරන දේවලුත් එයාගේ පිටින් එයාගේ පැත්තට දාලා ඉවල කරනවා. So whenever you want to give credits to the your subordinate, you should give. Leader can't be a credit grabber, right? Those things also issues what we see in certain people work as managers. Sometimes we see sales a company, a very recent incident, right? මෙලම මට කතා කරලා කියනවා අපේ මැනේජර් මේ එයාගේ එන සේල් එකත් මේ එයාගේ නමට දාලා ඉවරලා මේ ෆයිනලි පෙන්නනවා කියන එක. එතකොට මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? එයාගේ නමට දාලා කමිෂන් එක ආවම කමිෂන් එක ෂෙයා කරනවා, but this innocent executive is not getting highlighted in front of the senior management because the operational level executive can't bypass the manager. My manager is directly communicating with the superior, but I mean the manager is basically talking about the team target achievement, but not credits not properly given to the individual sales personality. To uplift their career. So those are some kind of an unprofessional approach of a leader. You can't be a leader in that way. You have to basically, whenever you have to praise, you have to praise. Whenever you have to blast, you have to blast, right? So, and also at the same time, so out of the job condition, your behavior should not carry the designation along with you. දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදියට get together එකක් තියෙනවායි කියලා team get together එකක් තියෙනවායි කියලා. එතනදී ඔයා team leader වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඔයා team manager වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඔයා director වෙන්න පුළුවන්, sales director. But you should be able to get into the situation and have fun with the sales team. If not, මම තමයි manager, මම තමයි leader, මම තමයි මේ මම director, මම කොහොමද sales executives අත් එක්ක dance කරන්න කියලා mentality එක දාගත්තොත් then you will not be able to get the maximum out of them. And at the same time you should be able to okay then එකට දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා සමහර sales managers ලා එකට මේ sales executives ලත් එක්ක party දානවා drinks දානවා හැබැයි ඊට පහුවෙන්ද උදේ job එකට ගියාම job එක. That should be the scenario. That should be the scenario. And also you should make sure you don't, and this is one of the dirtiest habit, right? You should make sure that you don't discuss any business related matters if it is a personal function, right? And let's say as example, if you are arranging a business dinner, your dinner is for the purpose of business, then you can discuss the business matters over the dinner. But let's say as an example, you organize a dinner I mean as a fun activity, and at that particular time if you start discussing the business matters and make the situation uncomfortable, those things might carry a long way negatively. So you got to be careful. So I mean when you look at I mean මේ වගේ දේවල් ඕගොල්ලන්ට ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට qualities ඕගොල්ලෝගේ ඇඟට එනවා when you all deal with foreign suppliers, foreign clients and all, because they stick into those ethics, those behavioral patterns. Foreign supply කෙනෙක් එක්ක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදිහට drink එකකට ගියොත් එහෙම. So they don't bother about the business, because if it is unless it's a business discussion or the business dinner, business get together, so they basically make the relationship works, and through that they make their business works in whatever the with whatever the supplier, whatever the customer are. So those things you got to identify as a leader. You should build the trust and the credibility among the subordinate change, citizenship behavior, down to earth, supportive, right? approach එකක් ඔයාගේ තියෙනවනේ නිකන් අර මනුස්ස ගතියක් කියන එක තියෙනවනේ හැමතිස්සෙම දැන් I don't want to mention one of the chairmen in a company. So during the meeting he was using filth, right? I mean, I don't want to mention the words filth, but at the end of the discussion, he knows how to manage everybody and bring smile to the entire meeting and move out from the room. So it's a different. I don't want to mention the person, right? So it's a different approach of this gentleman, and he is success. He blast in front of everybody. He give a tough pressure during the meeting, and he sometimes even, no matter whether it's a director or no matter whether it's a manager or executive, even in front of the executive, directors are getting blasted. So, and finally after the meeting, he makes everybody smile somehow. He makes sure everybody smiles somehow and move out without any clashes they build inside the meeting. So those are good, qualities of a leader. Those are good qualities of a leader, and leader does not carry the personal grudges, personal arguments. So, leader should be able to identify that as purely a business, nothing personal, purely business context. සමහරලාට අපි දකිනවා මම දෙන්නම් right personally දෙන මේකක් ගන්න මේ revenge එකක් ගන්න office එකේ ඇතුළේ corporate world. So those are unethical practices and those are not good qualities of a leader. So good leadership will increase the better performance and of course the morale. So those are the things we need to look at under the leadership, and you being a sales personality. Guys, remember, your visual appealing as a leader is also important, and also at the same time, the way you're talking to your subordinates, the way you're if you have to blast, you have to blast. Simple as that. But you can't continue with it. You need to stop in a particular point, then you have to restart the rest. So you got to practice yourself. How can you practice yourself to become a better leader? Identify the behavioral patterns of good set of leaders. එක්කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි මම කියන්නේ. ගොඩක් ස්ටඩි කරන්න. මොකද එක්කෙනෙක්ව කොපි කරන්න ගියොත් එහෙම you will be in a deep trouble because you can't be another person, right? අරය හොඳ ලීඩර් කෙනෙක් මං එයා වගේ වෙනවයි කියලා you can't be another person like that. What do? You identify the set of leaders with good leadership qualities and you see what type of characteristics I should bring into my life with this communication, the way you talk to your subordinate, the way you talk to your superior, behavioral, the way you dress yourself, the way you hang around with your subordinates. So what do? You just have to associate, you just have to follow good leaders and bring those qualities into your life by practicing. So sometimes you will be bit of artificial at the initial stage when you are implementing things without having a better idea about the way you're behaving. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. But the good thing, what you can do, you follow a couple of role models and build your own leadership approach, which is unique in your life. That is the best thing you can do if you want to become a good leader. Improve your communication skills, improve your analytical skills, improve your creative skills, improve your motivational skills, the negotiation skills, negotiating with people, talking to people, and all these things should improve effectively if you are to be a good leader. Otherwise, you will not be able to perform inside the sales force as a good leader if you don't improve those qualities. පැහැදිලිද? Making ප්‍රශ්න කීපයක් එයි, එකක් දෙකක් එයි, but more than the questions, this is basically a soft skills development area. So any question? Any question? Anyone is having any question? Senal, do you want to give the announcement now? Senal, are you there? Yes, Senal wanted to give an announcement. Right, okay. After he joined you. Right, any questions? Any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Quickly. Give me 1 minute. Who is there from Institute Samadhi or Senal? Senal, yes, you wanted to give announcement. What? Then not an announcement.
Hello, yes, sir, yes. Hello.
Okay, where are you? You're outside.
Outside. No, it's fine, sir. You can hear me, no?
I, of course, can.
Okay, so I can give the announcement if everybody is okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So, students, I think we have in the class right now, we have about 27 students, and I'll be informing the others as well. So, we're happy to announce that we will be starting another project, a project under Skills for Smile, the project that you're currently undergoing, the program Diploma in Strategic Sales Management. That program will be starting fourth batch, and that will be next July this year, and that will be also going under the Skills for Smile free education project in Sri Lanka. So yeah, and we'll be opening the registrations this month onwards, and so what we'd like, it will be the same. I mean, the diploma in strategic sales management will be taking, and so we'll now, since due to the current condition in the country, we'll be having a separate, we'll be only charging a small nominal fee. The coaching will be 100% free for everyone, for all the participants, and for the fourth batch, it will be a nominal fee. The exam fee, that means the assignments and the evaluation criteria for each student, there will be a small charge, and we'll be informing the evaluation structure as well for you shortly. Within, I think today we can inform you. And yeah, so what you can do is, now if there's anyone in your, maybe your relatives or your friends or even your loved ones who missed this batch, this ongoing batch, who was unable to join to this ongoing batch for the Diploma in Strategic Sales Management, the 6-month qualification, they can enroll for the next program, and we'll be opening the registrations this month onwards. And I'm really happy to say that even during this tough condition in the country, most of the companies, most of the institutes in Sri Lanka also, they have increased their university fees, their course fees, but we are still we are proud to say that we can still facilitate free education to the entire country. So make sure to take the maximum out of this opportunity, and because there's a pathway to do your MBA as well through KDC. And through your diploma in strategic sales management, you can go for CIM qualifications as well, like we have informed previously. And there's a huge pathway and a huge future for people who are into marketing and sales, or even who is interested in learning sales and marketing. So I would very much warmly like to welcome everyone and all of your friends and relatives and your loved ones as well to take the maximum out of this opportunity and yeah, go forward in this difficult times. So thank you very much. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. In the
Sinhala, can I disturb you?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I think you disturb. Okay, the
Yes,
reason actually. Okay, guys, actually the reason we decided to charge a nominal fee, I think it's about 3,000 rupees if I'm not mistaken, for the exam to avoid passengers, not because of anything else, right? It was not communicated properly. මොකද අපි කියන්නේ කොහොම dropouts තියෙනවා, it's usual. First batch we were having about 350 plus registrations and only 128 or 30 could complete. Some dropped out because of the assignments and everything. Right. So, and the second batch, we saw certain number of significant increase, closer to 500 registrations. But from the second assignment, from the first assignment, many dropouts we identified. So we don't want any passengers to take the advantage because we also have some kind of a capacity. මොකද මේ අපි registrations close කරාට පස්සේ ගොඩාක් students ලා අපිට කතා කරලා කිව්වා පුළුවන් නම් registrations දෙන්නයි කියලා, but we were not facilitating them because of the capacity, but to manage. මොකද students ලා 450ක assignments අපිට lecture ගෙනෙට free බලන්න දෙනවයි කියලා කියන්නේ it's pretty unfair. Right, so එතකොට ඒ concern එක උඩ තමයි අපි ඇත්තටම අලුතෙන් ළමයි registrations වලට ගත්තේ නැත්තේ. It was seriously unfair because they were registering and we closed the registrations, and many students who wanted to genuinely do the program couldn't do this because of that. So this time what we have taken the decision, register වෙන්නේ exam fee එක pay කරලානේ 3000 pay කරලා ඉවරලා තමයි course එකට එන්නේ. So එහෙම තමයි යන්නේ. Okay, let me, I think that is the mechanism. So exam fee එක කියන්නේ assignment fee එක, this is not applicable for you all, my dear friends, don't take me wrong, right? So register exam එකට register වෙලා තමයි coaching වලට එන්නේ. එතකොට when, I mean, at least you will commit to complete that particular stage. එතකොට stage 1 එකට register, exam එකට register වෙලා you start the stage 1. If you pass the stage 1, then only you have to pay for the second exam fee, which means another 3,000 for the second assignment. So it goes like that. Make අපි කරන්න හේතුව මොකද අපි now we have invested the capacities on LMS. We have invested the capacities on our teachers. Now the teachers also paying, don't charge anything, but the examiners we can't do like that because examiners are taking huge effort to mark your assignments, because even 250 assignments marking, in the sense it's not easy task, so they take time. So at least we need to make sure they are benefited. So that is the reason we decided to charge that amount. So anyway, the total coaching fee, as usual, the total coaching will be completely free for you, whoever who is registering for the fourth batch. This is the fourth batch. This ඊළඟ එක fourth batch එකනේ. සෙනා, you all will get those details. This is the fourth batch. මොකද ලංකාවේ culture එකක් තියෙනවා, නිකන් දෙන කිසි දෙයක් valued නැහැ. මොකද අපිට හතරවෙනි batch එකට අවශ්‍ය නැහැ පුතා passengers ලා. ඇත්තටම qualification එක ඕන ඒගොල්ලන් තමයි අපිට අවශ්‍ය. මේක skill based diploma එකක් හින්දා ඒ qualification එක ඕන ඒගොල්ලන්ව විතරක් register කරගන්න purpose එක තමයි අපි මේක implement කරේ. Otherwise next time also will be about 500 plus registrations and finally completing only about 150 130 කියන crowd එක. ඒක නැති කරගන්න තමයි we decided to go ahead with that one, but the coaching 100% free. පැහැදිලි නේද කට්ටියට? I think that part was not communicated properly. Sinhala කියපු දේ මටත් confuse වුණා. So that is the reason I decided to make it. පැහැදිලිද කට්ටියට? Guys,
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes,
this
sir.
situation, you all know, no one can give anything free, but still we are giving. So this year we have given totally we have given so far. අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම total registrations ටිකත් එක්ක මේ පාර batch එකට අපිට තිබ්බා. කීයක් තිබ්බද සෙනාල් total registration initial stage එකේ මේ batch එකට? I will just tell you all, okay?
About 500 plus students.
Okay, let's say 500. You multiply. Okay, if it is 500, my dear friends, you multiply the 500 by 60,000, the coaching fee. You can imagine the amount of scholarships we have offered. Last batch, the previous batch for you all, before you all, 358 multiplied by 60,000, which means 21 million worth of scholarships we have given free of charge. So we have offered, but only 150 plus completed. We don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. මොකද අතන ගිය පාර join වෙන්න බැරි වෙච්ච කට්ටිය මේ පාර join වෙලා දැන් continue කරගෙන යනවා. So ඒක avoid කරන්න තමයි. That obvious 3,000 is nothing for I mean nothing as examination fee, but we are charging that just to avoid passengers. Make sure just to avoid passengers, those who are just registering without having any interest. ඒකින්ද තමයි අපි ඇත්තටම ඒක මේවා කරන්නේ, not to make money. So can you clarify fourth batch for DSSM only? Give me 1 minute. Applicable DSMM එකේ structure එක change කරගෙන යනවා. Who is this? Jerome DSMM එකටත් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට එයි, but we are negotiating with the examiners and the faculty, right? මොකද අපිට හැම එකක්ම අමාරුයි කරන්න. රීසන් එක මොකද lecturers ලට අපිට ෆ්‍රීම කරන්න කියලා කියන්න බෑ. මොකද examiners ලට අපිට ෆ්‍රීම කරන්නයි කියලා කියන්න බෑ. මොකද මේ ඒ රීසන් එක උඩ අපි try කරනවා DSMM එකත් structure එක change කරලා ওই විදියට ගන්න, but yet to take the decision. Yet to take the decision. I can't tell you openly whether it can be done, but yet to take the decision. අපිට free ඒ කියන්නේ lecturers ලා work out කරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත් guys, it will be a good thing for you all. And also the good sign, guys, come on, you all can straight away go into level 6 CIM with the DSSM qualification, and that you are getting free of charge. Only couple of thousands you have to pay for evaluations. Exam එකටයි assignment එකට I think 3,000, එක assignment එකකට 3,000 ගානේ. මේ exam එකටත් ඔය වගේ complete figures Shenal will communicate. That is how it goes, right? DSSM 4th batch එකට connect වෙන logins ටික හදනවා, right? Payment logins එක්කම ඒ ටික හදනවා. මොකද exam එකට register වෙන ගමන් තමයි coaching එකට register වෙන්න ඕනේ. Coaching 100% free. ඒ හින්දා ඒ settings ටික හදලා ඉවරලා Shenal communicate කරයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට. But just keep in mind, so give that opportunity. මොකද මේ වෙලාවේ අපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම ඕක ඊට වඩා දෙයක් යන්න බෑ, because for these 2 years, for time being, we have offered 30 million worth scholarships for the Sri Lankan market and already built 200 plus professionals to the market. ඒක තමයි තත්ත්වය. ඉතින් අපිට අපි ඉස්සරහටත් කරනවා, but ඒක අරගන්න එක්කෙනා positive වෙන්න ඕනේ ඉඳ තමයි හරි විදියට අපි කරන්න decide කරේ. ඔක තමයි message එක. I think ඒක communicate උන්නේ සෙනාල්ගෙන්. ඒකයි මම කතා කරේ. So Clarence, yes, we will let you know the link and the date so that you all can communicate that with the students. Okay, guys, any questions? Any questions? මේමයි අපි ඇත්තටම guys, okay, we could easily sell things, not that we can't, right? Because already we have place, we do nice graduation in BMICH, and I mean people even sometimes pay, but people willing to pay. But when we are giving majority free, we can't charge only from few. So because of that, everybody we make it free. So that benefit, I mean, need to take it properly. මොකද අපි නිකන් දුන්නාම මේක වැලියු එකක් නැති වෙන හින්දා තමයි මේ පාර එක්සෑම් එකට රෙජිස්ටර් වෙලා ඉවර වෙලා ළමයි කරන්න ගත්තාම ඒතකොට අවශ්‍ය නැති එක්කෙනා එන්නේ නැහැ. knowledge එක අවශ්‍ය නැති එක්කෙනා එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක එහෙම වුණාම it's easy for us also මොකද operationally මේක ලොකු hassle එකක්. operation එක manage කරනවා කියන එක ළමයි 350ක 400ක එක operation එකට බහැලා බලන්න ඕනේ කොච්චර අමාරුද කියන එක. Because I'm also not 100% into this. I'm also into my other businesses. So ඒකත් මේ කරන ගමන් මේක අපි කරන්නේ. So it's basically a PR project for the entire country. අපි start කරේ COVID එකත් එක්ක රටට මොනවා හරි දෙයක් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. So ඒක අපි continue කරනවා කියලා හිතාගත්ත මේ condition එකේ economic condition එකේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ඉතින් ඒකෙන් උපරිම ගන්න කියන එක තමයි මම කියන්නේ. මොකද මේ knowledge එක කොහොම ගත්තත් ඒක නැති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තියාගත්තොත් ඕගොල්ලන්ට වාසි. ඉතින් මේක recognition එක අපි හදාගෙන යනවා තව දුරටත්. ඒකයි මම request එකක් කරේ ඕගොල්ලෝගෙන් පුළුවන් තරම් අපිට Google reviews දෙන්නයි කියලා. මොකද universities වගේක් එක්ක අපි negotiate කරනවා. DSSM, DSMM, PDSBM කියන qualification තුන pathway categories වලට ගන්න. එතකොට අපිට student feedbacks විදියට ඒ කියන්නේ student reviews අපිට අවශ්‍යයි. මොකද ඒවා ඒගොල්ලෝ measure කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒකයි මම කිව්වේ request කරේ කීපයක්. We can't force you all, but you all can give your reviews in FB and Google, which especially Google reviews are important at this point to get this. ඒක ඕගොල්ලන්ටමයි වාසි වෙන්නේ. ඒක කියන්නේ අපේ effort එක ඕගොල්ලන්ටම වාසි වෙනවා. But this is a PR project from our end, right? I mean, we are not millionaires, remember that. Okay. KDC is not a $1 million company, remember that. But we are giving something good to the society. ඒක තමයි අපි කවදා හරි දුන්නොත් අපිට හම්බ වෙයි. අපි හොඳ දෙයක් කරොත් ලබනාත්මෙත් අපිට මොනවා හරි හොඳ දෙයක් එයි. ඕක තමයි මගේ මොරාල් එක තියෙන වෙන මොකක්වත් නෙමෙයි. Okay, guys. So anything related to the subject now? We can finish off.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Jerome, go ahead.
I want to know, you said that we are discussing the third assignment.
Yes.
I hope we are discussing during the weekdays.
Maybe
Can you,
yes,
can you indicate the modules, what is going to be based on the assignment?
Anyway, it comes from the planning, forecasting and budgeting, the leadership, final modules වලින් තමයි යන්නේ. So maths කීපයක් ඒ calculation දෙකක් තුනක් කරන්න. Mainly planning, environmental audit, what we just completed last week. මම ඒක කිව්වා ඒක කරනකොටත් මම කිව්වා ඒ පැත්තෙන් එන්නේ කියන එක. සහ forecasting and budgeting. ඒක mainly ඔය ටික I will check. Anyway, මගේ inputs මම දුන්නා, but hopefully I'll be able to get it tonight, the assignment. If so, we will be doing the assignment Wednesday and Thursday.
Thank you, sir.
No worries. කොහොම හරි July end වෙනකොට අපි convocation එක තියන්න plan එක තියෙන්නේ. So go for that. Right. Anything? If not, we can quit for the day and meet up on Wednesday night for a assignment. For the assignment. But till then, you all have to complete your existing assignment, guys. Till then, you all have to complete your assignment. And next Sunday, either it will be maths or the law. Ekko law එක එහෙම නැත්නම් maths එක යන්නේ ඊළඟ Sunday. It's not with me, with either Pumal sir or PL sir. ඔය දෙන්නගෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් තමයි maths PL sir බලන්නේ maths එක, Pumal sir බලන්නේ law එක. ඔය දෙන්නගෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් එක තමයි next Sunday තියෙන්නේ. But I'll be completing by Thursday. I'll be completing my area along with the assignment. But even after that assignment, you all can get in touch with me. I'll be having separate one-to-one sessions for the final assignment and the Viva. But my syllabus area I'll be covering by Thursday. Any question?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm coming.
Yes,
sir, මේ group එකේ message එකක් තියෙනවා අද sir ගේ final class එක අදයි කියලා ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුළුවන් sir.
නෑ එතන මේ මොකද assignment එක මම brief කරේ නෑනේ. syllabus එක විදියට මම deeply අනිත් මට අදාළ almost ඔක්කොම ඉවරයි. right? almost ඔක්කොම ඉවරයි. මට අදාළ areas ටික මම ඉවරයි. so මම ඒ වුණාට ආයි පාරක් syllabus එකෙන් go through කරලා Wednesday assignment එක තියෙනවා. Wednesday Thursday දවස් දෙකම assignment එක ගන්නවා. assignment එක Wednesday ඉවර වුණොත් මම Thursday තව revision එකක් විදියට යනවා. We are planning to have a physical session before the exam. If so, I'll be completely revise the entire thing. it I think what
thank
maths
you,
and
sir.
law නෙමෙයි maths and law නෙමෙයි marketing part, sales part, management part එක I'll be revising during the physical session.
Thank you, sir.
No worries. කොතනද final class එක okay yeah because I wanted to make it but the assignment since we didn't discuss the assignment නේ එතන තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Right. Any question? Guys, මම හිතනවා ඕගොල්ලන්ට යම් කිසි දැනුමක් ආවයි කියලා ඉවරලා මේකෙන් right? උපරිම ඒකෙන් ප්‍රයෝජනය ගන්න කියන එක විතරයි මට ඉතින් කියන්න තියෙන්නේ වෙන මොකක්වත් නෙමෙයි. මම ඕගොල්ලන්ව මූණවල් වලින් අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ convocation එකට ආවට පස්සේ එහෙම නැත්නම් අපේ physical session එකට ආවට පස්සේ මම කියන්නේ කොහොම හරි ගේම ගහලා ඉවරලා ඉස්සරහට යන්න career එක develop කරගන්න. I sales කියන එක මම කියන්නේ ලේසි ජොබ් එකක් කියලා. ඒක අමාරු ජොබ් එකක්. හැබැයි මොරාල් එක හදාගන්න ගේම ගහලා ඉස්සරහට යනවායි කියන එක. මොකද සේල්ස් කියන එකෙන් තමයි ඉන්කම් එක හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ ඉන්කම් එක හදාගත්තයි කියලා කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ලයිෆ් එක okay and sales කියන එක skill එකක් විදිහට develop කරගන්න අපිට license දෙන්න බෑ කාටවත් sales කරන්න license දෙන්න බෑ බොරු දේවල් වලට අහු වෙන්න එපා I openly criticize certain things in public program එකක් යනවා sales කරන කටියට license දෙනවයි කියලා එහෙම දෙයක් කරන්න බෑ ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන එකම license එක තමයි knowledge එක ඕගොල්ලන්ට knowledge එක තියෙනවා නම් ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ sales කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒක තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන knowledge එක දෙන එක තමයි අපි කරන්නේ අපිට license දෙන්න බෑ මේක පාර යන driving license එකක් ගන්නවා වගේ දෙයක් නෙමෙයි sales කරන එක knowledge එක build කරගන්න ඒක තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන ultimate license එක සහ practically ඉගෙන ගන්න දේවල් implement කරන්න ඒක තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට හම්බ වෙන practically හම්බ වෙන license එක ඒතේ ඒ දෙක තියෙනවා නම් ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඕන තැනක ගේමක් ගහගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. ගේමක් ගහන්න කවදාවත් ආපස්සට හැරෙන්න එපා. ආපස්සට හැරෙන්න එපා. මොන ප්‍රශ්නේ ආවත් ආපස්සට හැරෙන්න එපා. knowledge එක තියෙන මනුස්සයාට ඕන තැනක ගේමක් ගහගෙන ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන්. මම මේ වචන වලින්ම කියන්නේ practically පහුගිය කාලේ අවුරුදු 20 මම sales මම career එක මගේ පටන් ගන්නේ සමහර ඒගොල්ලෝ ඉපදිලත් නැහැ මෙතන. මම sales කරන්න පටන් ගන්න 1993. 1993 ඉඳලා මම මේ sales field එකේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සෙක් විදිහට කියන්නේ door to door මම ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා right කතා කරපු නැති මම කිව්වොත් මම start කරේ මගේ career එක door to door salesman කෙනෙක් විදිහට right පුළුවන් තරම් ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන් තරම් qualifications හදාගන්න professional qualifications හදාගන්න experience හදාගන්න බය වෙන්න එපා challenge එකක් අරගෙන ඉස්සරහට යන්න අමාරුයි ලේසි නෑ හැප්පෙන්න වෙනවා සමහර තැන්වල සමහර වෙලාවට බැනුම් අහන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා සමහර වෙලාවට මේ දාලා යන්න හිතෙයි එපා කාගෙන ඉන්න මොකද මේකෙන් හැදෙන ස්කිල් එක ඕන ප්‍රෙෂර් එකක් අරගෙන ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන් ස්කිල් එකක් ඕගොල්ලන්ට හැදෙනවා. ඉතින් මේක තමයි සේල්ස් ජොබ් එකේ තියෙන ලොකුම දේ. ඒ ගැම්ම අරගෙන කරන්න so that you all will be able to pressurize. එකම ජොබ් එක හැම මාසෙම බින්දුවෙන් පටන් ගන්න සේල්ස් ජොබ් එක. මම හැමතිස්සෙම කියනවා. එකම ජොබ් එක හැම මාසෙම බින්දුවෙන් පටන් ගන්න සේල්ස් ජොබ් එක. ඉතින් මේකේ ස්කිල් එක හදාගන්න හැම මාසෙම බින්දුවෙන් පටන් අරගෙන ටාගට්ස් ගන්න මොරාල් එක හදාගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන්නේ. එතනම ඕගොල්ලෝ දිනලා ඉවරයි. ඒක ඕක තමයි තියෙන එකම ලයිසන් එක ඕගොල්ලන්ට. වෙන මොකක්වත් කවුරුවත් කාටවත් බෑ ඕගොල්ලන්ට ලයිසන් එකක් දෙන්න මේ සේල්ස්මන් කෙනෙක් විදිහට. It's completely rubbish මට කියන්නේ. but knowledge එක කොහෙන් වුණත් කමන්නේ knowledge එක ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් අරගන්න. knowledge එක කොහෙන් වුණත් කමන්නේ අරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් අරගන්න ඒවා practically implement කරන වචන වලට රැවටෙන්න එපා කියන එක විතරයි මම කියන්නේ. මම openly criticize කරනවා ඒ සමහර දේවල්. so it's my pattern. I'm really sorry some might get hurt. ඒක මගේ pattern එක මම openly criticize කරනවා සමහර දේවල්. so මම කියන්නේ knowledge එක කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ. YouTube channel එකකින් හරි කමන්නේ. knowledge එක ගන්න. පත්තර කෑල්ලකින් හරි කමන්නේ. knowledge එක ගන්න. right? ඇත්තම කියනවා නම් අද ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ YouTube එක ඇතුළට ගියාම ගොඩක් ස්කිල් එක ඩෙවලොප් කරගන්න හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි ඉම්ප්ලිමන්ට් කරන්න ලෝකල් මාකට් එකට. තමන්ගේ බිස්නස් එකක් කරනවා නම් ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි ඉම්ප්ලිමන්ට් කරන්න. මොඩල් එකක් ඉගෙන ගත්තොත් මේ මොඩල් එක කොහොමද මගේ බිස්නස් එකට දාන්නේ කියලා බලන්න. දාලා බලන්න. ලේසි නෑ. එකක්වත් ලේසි නෑ. right? දාපු ගමන් හරියන්නේ නෑ කිසිම දෙයක්. right? ඒ හින්දා කරලා බලන්න. කරලා බැලුවට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙයි මේකේ තියෙන වටිනකම මොකක්ද කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ ඒකත් එක්ක මම හැමදේම කියන්නේ ගේමක් ගහගෙන ඉස්සරහට යන්න නතර කරන්න එපා කිසි දෙයක්. Right guys, all the best. We'll see you all on Wednesday. Any question? Any questions? Right. Seems no questions. All the best. We'll see you all on Wednesday with the assignment, final assignment. And if you all have in your assignment, මට කීපයක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. මම ඒ වතරයට බලලි වල feedbacks දෙන්නම්. අනිත් ඒවා ටික මට immediately එවන්න. මොකද මට හෙට ඉඳලා පොඩි tight schedule එකක් යනවා. I'm not available from tomorrow. ඒ වුණාට මම මේක මේවා කරන්න. ඒද එවන්න. I will not ignore anything. So I will give you all the feedback. All the best. We'll see you all on Wednesday.
Thank
Good
you,
luck,
sir.
guys. No worries.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Good
Have a
night.
good evening, sir.
Thank you,
You too.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.